crazy times. The world just needs a hero to help cut through all the noise.
Well, now you have two.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to yet another episode of Your Heroes of Noise. I'm one half of this dynamic duo. My name is Steve.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to 161. My name is Dan. The show begins now. Let's do it. Let's see what happens.
Let's rock and roll, man. How was your week, brother?
Week was good, man. We had another one, almost ready to leave the roost. We had a graduation ceremony last night, which was moving, to say the least. It's strange. They have, this is the first year since pandemic where they're actually letting people, okay, we missed a year, but it's the first time that they're letting students back in Fresno graduate again, like in public, family there and everything like that.
Yeah.
So it was really nice. It was crazy. I mean, for Californians, it was kind of cold last night because I went in there wearing shorts and like a Hawaiian t-shirt, dude, and it got down to like probably, I don't know, which Rob Forrest was giving me shit just a second ago because he's from the East Coast, and I totally get it. But when you're going from like 109 one week or 106, whatever it was, and then dropping down to like low 60s just out of the blue with like a high wind, it was pretty freaking cold last night.
Yeah, this isn't normal for Fresno in this time.
No.
Not even kind of.
I was not dressed appropriately for it. But I mean, it really wasn't about me, but it was just kind of funny watching everyone. Like, put it this way. You know how it is. You've been to graduations in Fresno.
Absolutely.
And I'm just going to say it. I'm going to start off that way because, God damn it, I don't understand why my people do not understand how rules work at graduation ceremonies. They
don't
when I say my people,
your person, you mean?
I'm just going to go ahead and say my fellow Hispanics. Let's just say that. Let me explain what I mean by this. That way it doesn't sound so like, hit you in the jaw right away kind of thing. So it was at the Paul Theater. Okay, normally it's in a big arena called the Save Mart Center if you're from around here or whatever, but it's just this gigantic arena. It's our big arena in Fresno, and that's normally where we have these things. And because of COVID, and I can't really say social distancing because there was none of that there, and plus hardly anyone was wearing masks or anything, but it was now at the Fresno Fairgrounds in this place called the Paul Theater. This is where we get our fair shows, Godsmack, Al Green, I'm trying to think of some other people that have been there. Al Green's dead now, right, Steve?
Did Al Green die?
At one point, I think he died. I'm pretty sure he's dead. Could be wrong about that. But anyway, Al Green was there.
Bernie Sanders and the like.
Yeah. Jose Feliciano. Remember that? Of course.
Yes.
That kind of shit. So it's not a big place. So what they did was instead of having every single person in your family come, they limited it to 4 people. And you got 4 tickets, right? Unless you are a summa cum laude valedictorian, in which the family got 8, which is not a big deal. I wasn't going to bring 8 people, but just hold on to the 8. Okay. So now let's go back to my people in Fresno and graduations or movies or any place where you're supposed to be quiet. They say right up there, you can only bring 4 people, and I'm watching, and I already know how this is going down because I just know it's in the genes, if you will. So like I'm watching people walk up, and there's like 10, 15. The largest I counted was like around 17 people, all in one family. At least it looked like it was all in one family because they were all together and they were like walking. I'm like, this is going to be bad. This is going to be bad because what's going to happen is all these, and the line was like around the corner and shit. I'm like, all these people are going to get to the front and they're going to go, ticket please. And then all hell's going to break loose.
Dude. Oh, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. So I didn't see this happen because we were smart. I'm like, you know what? I just know what's going to happen. So we got to get there early. And I'm not a guy that gets there early, but we were in line an hour and a half before you can. We had the doors opened at 6:30. We got there at 5:00, right? And I was glad we did because we had great seats. We were probably the 20th through 24th people in line, which is not bad, right?
Dude.
So we were good. So I didn't see any of this, but I just noticed that the amphitheater was a lot more empty than it was than the line around the corner. And then I started seeing like the family shuffle in, pissed about how it's not fair that people. I could go into this for a long thing, but it's really not about. It's not about me or my experience. Or it's about my daughter graduating.
Yes.
But these people were just they were not happy. They were calling out people in the front because they had a VIP section for the summa cum laude, and you think your kid's better than mine and all that shit. And
Shut up.
Dude, it's just so embarrassing sometimes.
Oh,
I remember when 2017, we go to my kid's graduation. This is at the Save Mart Center. I remember this like it is yesterday. So we're standing in line again, right? Which is why I got in line so early this time. So I'm like, well, shit, if it was like this at the Save Mart Center, I can only imagine what it's going to be like at the Paul Paul Theater. So we got in line and they just let the doors open and it's like Black Friday. Like people just start running towards
Jesus.
And I'm with my mother-in-law. She's not going anywhere. Like she's not going to get anywhere for at least 10 minutes. And my mom and stuff. And she's not, she can get down if she needs to, but she's like hanging with my mother-in-law and the family and stuff. I said, look, I'm going to do this craziness and I'm going to go run over there and find us seats. And then I'm going to try and hold the seats, which is always a disaster. So like I remember
that is disastrous. Dude,
yeah, but I only needed to hold like 3 seats is the thing, right?
But they're like, if someone's sitting, you have to keep them like, yeah, someone's already. Well, are they? And then sometimes they'll stay and watch and see if anyone's. You're like, oh, this is just weird,
dude. A family, I shit you not, a family. I don't even know how many rows or seats are in the row, but a family came in. This is 2017, and they took up 2 rows plus. Okay. Whoa. 2 rows plus. I'm not exaggerating for the sake of the story. I'm just letting you know what happened. So like the back end of the family come in and now they're starting to get into, because I'm in the 3rd row and they're starting to get into the 3rd row. Right. And I go, hey man, I said, just so you know, I just need these 3 right here and I'm good to go. You can have whatever you need. He's like,
that's as nice as you can do it. Yeah. That is the nicest you can do it.
What do you think their response was?
I mean, there's only...
Keep in mind, it's graduation day. People are supposed to be happy. Dude, it's not about us. It's about the kid graduating. But what do you think the response was to me? It was a guy.
There's only 2 responses that aren't mean. It's, okay, no problem. Or, all right. Those are everything else other than that is douchey.
Yeah. They fell into that. The response was, I don't fucking see anyone sitting here.
No, he did. No, that's not. Are you kidding me, Dan?
And
are you kidding me?
No, I'm not, bro. Because it's
that is the worst ever.
I hate to say, I feel like everybody gets so offended these days, but I'm Mexican. Fresno Mexicans just don't know how to act. Is what I'm trying to say, bro.
So what do you even say to that?
I go, dude, give me a fucking break. This is literally what I said. That was it. And then he just did his thing. I think he just needed to. It's a machismo thing, my friend. I think is really weird
thing, dude.
So anyway, that was fine. That was 4 years ago. We flash forward now to last night, and the ceremony was nice. They were kind of like shuffling along pretty quickly because there was a ton of kids, and like normally they'll do the like they'll all walk up at once and they'll say the name, walk across the street. Nah, they were like it's cold outside, so they had 2 tables set up. The jumbotron couldn't go up. The screen couldn't go up because it was so windy last night. So they had the screen down below, like at stage level. And what they ended up doing was having 2 sides where they're just like this person, that person, this person, that person. And they're just jamming through. Like, seriously, listen how quickly they gave Sarah a little announcement here. It's not bad. It was nice, but let me see if I can pull it up real quick. Like, it was quick. She didn't even have a chance. It was like, Sarah Ramirez, get the fuck out of here.
Really?
I mean, it was nice. And at least she got a little
Did she give a speech?
No. She didn't do that. Hold on a second. Here we go. Listen to how fast they say her name and to the next person.
Sarah Ramirez. Lene Covita.
Oh my God, dude.
Hey, fuck you, Lene Covita.
That's like 12.
I mean, so they were getting thunder.
Through like 600 people.
Yeah, they were just like, next. But I think it was fine because everybody was cold. Like, it was uncomfortably cold and windy. That's the thing. I think the temperature would have been fine, but you add that wind to it. I don't care what you say, East Coast people. It was cold last night. But other than that, it was a nice evening. Like I said, quick ceremony. Sarah got up there and she was in and out. She stood for her, like, you know how they do like the ropes for like clubs that you're in and stuff like that. So we got some pictures of her standing up for her marching band and everything.
That's dope, dude.
She got a little cheer when she walked up there. It was nice, man. It was just like it was like solidifying the end of an era.
Oh, and how many, dude, did you bring a tissue?
I thought I was going to cry because I've already had some moments, man. I was driving with Gail. When was it? Last weekend. And we were just driving. We were just talking about it, dude. Just talking about, well, she's graduating next week. And, in 3 months, she's going to be moving. And I'm like, immediately start tearing up while I'm talking. And I went, oh my God, how am I going to be at graduation when it actually happens? And I think that I probably would have been moved to tears. First of all, it's hard to get moved to tears when they're like, Sarah Ramirez next. You know what I mean? Like you don't get to really bask in it, even though I was proud. But the other thing is that it was just so freaking cold or windy, I should say, that I was my mind was on other things, if that makes any sense.
That's understandable.
My mind was on trying to stay like not shivering. Gail was literally like, she had her legs across me and she was like leaning into me because she was cold too. Everyone was freaking cold. Shannon Wise, one of our listeners, she was there apparently.
She was at my son's graduation because my son and her son graduated the same day too.
Okay, well, our daughters graduated the same day. I'm starting to get some stalkery vibes off of this. Like
that was so crazy.
You ever see that movie The Fan with De Niro?
Oh, dude, with Snidipes? Always bet on black?
Yeah, I think Wise is out to get us or something like that.
It was so funny when I saw her post being like, hey, I'm in this section. And I was like, oh, you were smart. I'm in this horrible crowded section where I had to do a bunch of Dan save seats. And I had to save a row.
She put a picture up on Instagram, right? And I'd say she's probably like 8 rows back. I didn't see her, but I saw my bald ass head because I could tell where she was sitting.
Oh, that's so funny.
She probably saw me. I don't know if she did or not. And if you did,
you didn't bring your Kango? No Kango that day?
Nah, man. I had a different look going on. You can't wear a Kango with a Hawaiian shirt. It just doesn't look right.
That's true. I'm shocked the Hawaiian shirt happened. I didn't see you as a Hawaiian shirt.
No, I've been rocking. I'm trying to embrace my inner dad. You know what I mean?
You're turning into that.
I ain't shy. Hey, it wasn't like a full on, like there weren't tiki torches and stuff on it.
Oh, okay. I thought it was like flowers and stuff.
Close enough, Steve. There was pineapples on it.
Oh, dude.
It's kind of a dope shirt, though. I like it.
No, I mean, it's totally cool. And you're rocking were they khaki shorts?
No. I had on some black. And by the way, I'm not going to get down with this new look where everyone's starting to show like, hey, how you want to see like 75% of my male thighs? I'm not wearing shorts now. You know how that's the thing? Guys are starting to do that. Not this guy.
I see that. Yeah.
No, keep my ass in the 90s, boy. I'm like Chris Cornell with the below the knee shorts, and I don't give a fuck. I'm not changing.
Well, the thing is, they also wear like shoes with no socks with the high shorts.
Oh, okay. This is just me being a curmudgeon, I think. But there's this, all the boys, the young men, if you will. I saw them walking in, right? Uh-huh. And they're like, okay, you got to be there at 5:45, no later than 5:45. Of course, 6:15 rolls around, and I see these fools running in, and they were wearing like this. It was like slacks, but the slacks stopped at the calf, like mid calf, and then shoes with no socks, like pink loafers.
Oh, you're talking about but it's snug where it stops, right?
Yeah, like an ass hugging pants.
Absolutely, yeah, that's the thing. Yeah.
What the fuck, dude? When did this happen? Yeah. Am I just like? Are you doing this? Is this something I need to know about?
No.
Because this is not our place to be doing this.
We would look like absolute fools, bro. Make no mistake.
Oh, I would completely, but I don't know. Maybe you could pull it off. I don't think I could.
No, it's if I tried it, they'd be like, "Oh, are you going to a photo shoot to show that 40's the new such and such?" That's what it would look like. They're like, "Oh, you're doing like a photo thing where it's like, look how cool this older gentleman is." No, I would not wear that on a normal day. Not a chance, dude.
You have to be one of those, you don't, not necessarily even like a white dude, but I think you can picture this when I'm saying it. Like a model type, right?
Uh-huh.
And they always have, it's like usually a white guy, probably a brunette with a beard.
Oh, yeah.
And his hair is all flowy in the wind. He's making this stupid face because he has a beard. You know what I'm talking about, those pictures?
Yeah. Totally.
I hate those guys so much, but those are the guys that wear that stuff.
No, or he's sitting on the edge of a boat, like a nice, expensive boat.
That cocksucker, I swear.
Yeah, with the glasses not on, but on his t-shirt,
or like down not like below the bridge of the nose, like he's looking up.
Dude,
like, excuse me, dude. I was just doing something douchey. Were you saying something?
I will never wear those pants. I think those are H&M sort of thing.
There's this guy. I don't know if any listeners do DDPY, but I follow the DDPY page on Facebook, right? Because eventually I need to get back to that. I'm good though. My health is improving. But anyway, there's this one cat on there, and they're all people for the most part that were very heavy at one point or heavier, just out of shape, and they show their progress, which is cool. It creates kind of like a community. You know what I mean? But there's this one dude on there. You could tell this boy has never been out of shape in his life, right? And he is that guy. He's with the beard and he makes the weird faces and he's always like shirts. I don't understand these people sometimes, man. I don't know. I don't understand social media anymore. I think I just want to like heckle people online, and I don't get the whole like trying to sell yourself on Facebook or Instagram or any of that stuff. It's totally like a generational gap, and I admit it. It's just not my thing. I just don't get it.
Here's the funny part. So this a few weeks ago, Daniel Dominguez, your co-namer. Mm-hmm. We were talking.
What's up, Dan? What's up, Daniel?
And you know, I haven't pushed. I wouldn't say I haven't. Let me change that. I'm not big into promoting the album at all. I haven't promoted it. And so he's like, we were talking. He said, "Okay, look, man, at least do something. Do a TikTok." And I was like, you know, Dan and I were talking about how weird TikTok is and how you do that weird like effects. And so I said, okay, fine. I'll do a TikTok a day for a year. I just said it flippantly. And Daniel was like, I will challenge you and I will do it too.
I saw one of his that he put up.
Yeah, I went against him and thinking, you know what you felt like if you did a TikTok, what are you thinking? What are you thinking? You're thinking, hey, it's just going to be for fun, right? It's a challenge, and I love a challenge. So we're going back and forth. And let me tell you something. Social media can be the nicest people in the world, or
the other thing, where it's just, oh, you're creating an argument for nothing on this video that is just about music. And that's when I realized, oh, I don't understand social media, but I just won't look at I just don't look at the comments, man. I just won't, because I don't get it. I'm like, I don't understand the need to be mean. I don't get it. I was like, did you wake up wanting to do this thing? And especially if you get a few more views than you planned, it really gets pretty. We're a different generation, G. We're not used to this. Normally, it's like we were raised. If you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. I won't do TikTok. I've just decided that I'm not photogenic enough. I took pictures last night. I hate taking pictures. No, dude, it is. I mean, you don't have to like try to butter me up. It's just some people are more symmetrical than others. Some people are more photogenic than others. I ruin every single picture I'm in, and it's just a fact. It's just the way it is.
Have you have that light? You remember you bought that lighting thing?
Yeah.
Have you done that on your phone and turned off the lights and turned that light on?
No, this is what fucked me up. Is there's a filter on TikTok where you can. It's like a what do they call that? I'm so sorry. I'm blanking on the word right now. Oh my God. It's like inversing yourself. And I know that's not the right word I'm trying to say. Oh, that's pretty
cool.
Yeah, well, it's just, like it'll just keep flipping. Mirror image.
That's dope. Yeah.
Dude, that I can't ever look at myself the same again. Like, I look like fucking Harrison Ford. Half of my face looks happy. The other side looks mad and stoned. I don't understand it. And it's really weird for me. So I've always had this thing. Even as a kid, I ruin every single picture I'm in. When I actually get a good picture of myself, I will point that shit out. Anything that you see up on like like Facebook or something like that, those are all like approved. Yeah. Trust me, there's a graveyard of just dead pictures everywhere. So I will never do that. I actually was thinking
videos?
Same thing, because it's just asymmetry in motion. You know what I mean?
God. And this is in your head.
No, it's a fact, and I totally am okay with it.
But I'm saying, have other people told you, or did you?
No, because like who's mean like that? I mean, I guess there are mean people like that. Yes, but I don't want to put myself into that. Do you know what I'm saying? Like I'm not secure enough, and I'll just be honest with you. I'm not secure enough to put myself out there. I used to be. I don't know what happened. I guess it's just when I got older, when I hit my 40s, and I just don't want to do it anymore.
I get.
Very rarely will you see a picture of me that's like new.
I'm not big on pictures. The funny thing is I'm not big on pictures. But again, it's one of those, I'm reading, there's a book called The Artist's Way. And it's a big thing about getting out of they're like, if you're creative, how else are you creative? Like you're creative in a myriad of ways that you're not using. She's like, use the different ways you're creative. Like we all know you write. We've heard you write, and you write well. And it's like, try those other things and see, instead of, and see what happens. And that's the only reason I'm like, okay, let's see how else I'm creative. How else can I do things? And I'm sure there's going to be a thing that I do and people are going to be like, yeah, you suck at that. I'm like, oh, well, what are you going to do? You tried it. What are you going to do? Life goes on, dude.
I mean, I'll peep the TikTok and let you know what's up, you know?
I appreciate it.
Sorry, I'm chewing. I'm really hungry.
No, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I mean,
I'm having an acai bowl today, ladies and gentlemen. It's pretty good.
That's where I'm talking. I love those. And I called them acai for a million years.
Yeah, I did too.
And then till Belle was like, well, you want to get an acai bowl? I'm like, I don't know what that is.
You're all, no, stupid, it's acai. You idiot.
We were like, I was like, I don't know what that is. She's like, we ate it yesterday. I was like, oh, is that how you say that? Huh.
I did the same thing.
But it looks like acai.
It's pretty lovely what I'm eating right now, but I won't be able to eat this the whole time because it's very
all right.
crunchy.
Tell me what you put on your acai bowl.
Let's see. We've got. I'm just looking right here because this was purchased for me whilst I was in here.
It's so good.
We've got pumpkin seeds. It looks like
fantastic.
We've got some granola. We've got strawberries, fresh bananas, acai. We've got chia. It looks like.
Oh, come on.
And I think that's it. Oh, peanut butter.
Now that's what sets it off.
And it gives it the je ne sais quoi, as some say. It's and then fantastic. Also, oh wait, hold up. There is no peanut butter in this one. Normally there is.
Oh, that's a bummer.
That's okay. It's still very good. But then of course there's the acai, the acai blend down below, if you will.
They have fairly good ones at Costco. Like a box you can buy put them in the freezer and you just rip off the top and you're ready to go with granola and all that stuff in them.
These came from the Tower District because there's a good place there. And I would give it some love if I could remember the name of it, but I can't.
Tower Blends?
Yes. I think it is Tower Blends, actually. I love going to Tower Blends, dude, because it's right across the street from the Tower Theater. And this only happened once, but going to this corner, you're guaranteed to get something like this at least every third trip. Last time I went there, there was this Mexican dude, ripped. You could tell my man just got out of the pen. He just had the look. You know what I'm saying? Ripped, like all top heavy. Just tatted up and just could not sit still. He was like kind of uncomfortable in his own public skin. But the best part about it was, dude, I watched him from the window. My man proceeded to do a full-on street workout at the bus stop. Wow. This means... So like picture like you're outside of a theater and you've got the posters of the upcoming events and things like that, right? And it's just like right there by the bus stop. My man decided to take off his shirt and he was doing handstand push-ups at the bus stop. And then he there was like this piping that goes.
Oh, that's
there's like an awning. There's an awning, and there's like a piping that goes between it. I'm glad it's not hot because obviously would have burned the shit out of himself, and I'm glad it's very sturdy because my man was a significant sized man. He probably weighed two plus because he was all ripped, dude. You know?
Yeah.
Somehow he managed to work his way up monkey bar style where he grabbed onto the pipe, lifted himself up, put his legs through the pipe. You know what I'm saying? And then he was just doing sit-ups.
Dude, what the crap, dog?
I mean, I know this is a whole bunch of random stuff we're talking about right now, but God damn it. Some of the things I see sometimes. And I really, really wanted to film it. Not to be mean, but it was more like, look at this dude get down. I wasn't going to be like, look at this loser. You know, and it wasn't anything like that.
No.
It was just like, it's just shit you see. Like, honestly, I don't know if you ever heard of Foo's Gone Wild on Twitter, but it's like the Mexican culture. And it's always about like cholos and shit like that, doing crazy shit, like walking into the ocean with like knee-high socks and Mary Jane's on, you know?
That's funny.
Shit like that. This dude belonged on Foo's Gone Wild, and I wanted to put it up so bad. My daughter's like, don't, you're being mean. So I didn't do it.
Yeah, you better watch out. She's majoring in something that you're gonna have to.
Yeah, you know these kids get into poli sci, they get all uppity.
You know why I know what Tower Blends is?
Who do you know that owns it?
I don't know the owners, but I mean, I guess we all kind of know each other after our meetings.
Your meetings,
our monthly meetings. There's Black owned.
You go to a Black monthly meeting?
No, it's dude. That was a joke.
Hey, dude. I would not be surprised. I mean, it's like
no,
it's not a crazy sounding thing.
No, I'm saying because a lot of people will be like, if they know somebody, they'll be like, so my friend, hey, you might know him. I'm like, I already know why you think I do, but I probably don't. And it's always weird if I do. I'm like, yeah, I know him. No,
hey, I'm happy to report, brother. There's peanut butter in here. Sorry,
dude, they're so good. My son bought me an acai bowl. Dude, it's gonna take a while. An acai bowl. And he dumped he's like, all right, I just made it the way I think you'd make it. And I took a bite and I said, son, and I mean this in all honesty, this is one of the best things I've ever tasted in my entire life.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I just didn't expect it to be that good, but it was mind-blowing how good. He's like, yeah, it's from Tower Blends. He just gets it delivered. I'm like, man, this was insane.
Yeah, this is the weird part, is that I don't see peanut butter, but I totally taste it.
You sure it's not the seeds?
No. This is peanut butter, Jay. There's peanut butter only tastes like peanut butter.
Did you get it delivered?
Yes.
And it stayed frozen.
We spent $4,000 on DoorDash, I'm sure.
Dude, let me tell you something.
For 4 acai bowls.
When I say I want Chipotle, I don't even think of driving there anymore. It doesn't even cross my mind. I get on my app. It says, would you like to order the thing you ordered last? Sure. On its way.
Quadruple that, though, and then do it all the time. Like when COVID was at peak.
Yeah.
It gets expensive real fast.
Oh, dude, trust me. First of all, I can only imagine yours because I only buy it for one. I couldn't imagine buying it for two. Like sometimes Maj is here, but I don't think I've ever had an order for 3 people ever. I've never ordered for 3 people.
That's odd. It sounds lonely.
Nah, it's only 2 at the most. Maj is here.
Sounds fantastic.
Belle and I will just go. Since we're both vaccinated, we just go out to eat.
You know, that was a trip last night too, getting back to the vaccinated, or speaking of the vaccinated thing, getting back to the graduation, is that they were like, well, you know, by the way, it's masks are optional. So it was a little bit of like, I was watching the peer pressure go down. You saw people there that were a little, there was like people that were clearly like, I'm not phased. Yes. I'm not buying this. I'm going to wear my mask. Maybe they have their reasons, and that would make perfect sense. So, you know, good for them. And you had the people that just weren't going to wear it. And then you had the people that were, and I kind of fall into this category where I have the mask with me. And then I put it on, even though I've already been around people. And then I'll all of a sudden it'll start dipping below the nose. Eventually it turns into a goatee. And then I just take it off again. Like, what's the point? I've already been exposed. So I don't know, man.
I still wear it.
No, that's good. I think a lot of people do, but I'm feeling more comfortable with it for now.
But I did get sick.
You did?
Uh-huh.
When?
A few weeks ago, I got a cold, my first cold. Because you don't wear masks in Muay Thai. And the crew was like, I got a little bit of a sore throat. I'm like, I'll be fine. I was not fine.
Well, everyone's in there sweating and kicking the bag, and then you kick the bag, sweating, your pores are open. Guess what? Guess who's got an infection? You're
grappling, like you're cheek to cheek grappling, like you're on. So it's like, if someone's sick, you're gonna get sick. So I got immediately I got sick, and I was over it in about 3 to 4 days. But you're like, truthfully, now I'm gonna wear my mask except for there, everywhere, because I forgot how much cold, just a normal run of the mill cold, it sucks, dude. Legitimately sucks. I hated it.
Yeah, I'm sure they're going to come back soon, because I didn't have a cold the entire time we were in COVID.
Neither did I.
But I thought I did for a second, because I have allergies, right? So like, and they take things so seriously at work. They're like, listen, if you have a runny nose, if you might have rhinitis, or if you're doing the thing, we got to make sure that you're okay. If you feel like at one point they're like, if you have like a bad headache. I remember one time I woke up and it was like bad allergies to the point where if I'm talking, you're going to know something's up, right? Yes. Are you sick? Someone's going to go, are you sick? Just like you did this morning right before when we started talking. Are you all right?
Yeah.
So I had to call. I knew what was going to happen. So I just called the boss and I'm like, look, man, I feel like I'm pretty good. I'm just trying to follow the rules here. This is what I'm feeling right now. And he's like, oh yeah, you definitely sound like you're not doing well. I said, well, I feel like I'm okay, but I just wanted to let you know, because I knew I was going to see him when I got into work. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
And he's like, yeah, well, we better just go ahead and keep you off. And then the next thing I know, they have me off for like 3 days so I can get tested. When do we just jump back in and just be like, okay, everything's fine again? You know what I mean?
No mask, you mean?
No mask. I know you said you're just going to wear it, but I think the majority of the people will eventually just go back to
absolutely.
No mask, right?
Today, what place was I at the other day where it says, I was at Rite Aid. Mm-hmm. I walked into Walgreens. I walked into Walgreens and they're like, I'm so used to hearing a certain pre-recorded message. Masks are required before you. Now it's like, if you masks are advised but aren't required if you have a vaccination. And it was like, oh my God, it's all changed. Like people could just walk around no mask now. I had the mask on, but I'm like, slowly things are just changed. It's over with, man. It's over, man.
So when I called the boss and I was asking about the mask or about the, how I'm feeling, he's like, yeah, stay home and everything like that. But it's like, all it was allergies, right? So I haven't truly had a cold yet or anything like that. I'm imagining they're going to start kicking in pretty soon now because we're back to touching shit and touching our face with not even realizing it.
Yeah, and people are walking around without their mask. They're going to be sneezing. It's going to get through your mask.
Yeah, the one thing that I have not, like, I still, and I think I'm going to just keep it this way because germs are germs, is I'm just going to keep the hand sanitizer. I don't think that's a bad policy.
No, keep it, dude. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I mean, my goal is to not get any more. I mean, I would like to go through life without a cold, but that's impossible. I will try to go another 2 years without one, though, because even though the cold was a light one that lasted, I think 2 to 3 days, it still was like, oh, I remember how sucky, like, bad colds are. Yeah. And I just don't even want to get that.
I'm good for like 2 a year. And I haven't had anything yet, but I imagine I'm not going to escape this year if I'm starting to go back to the old ways.
The old ways.
The old ways, Like, I'm good for laryngitis every November. I don't know why. I really wish I could tell you why it's in November. Every November I get laryngitis. Except for last year. Go figure.
Oh, well, mask.com, dude.
Right. So, I don't know. It's just very strange.
How's the acai bowl so far?
It's pretty good. I'm trying not to. It's so good.
Dude, here's the thing.
I'm muting a bunch right now.
No, here's the thing, dude. When you're having to do a podcast and you're kind of busy, you got to eat when you can.
This is for you people because the more I eat of this, the more lively I'll get because my brain will start firing away.
Oh, guess what I started drinking, Dan?
What's up?
Oat milk.
Oh, good for you. What kind do you drink? Let's just do an advertisement for like different foods today because I have a preference on my oat milk.
That Planet something.
That's the stuff, dude.
I'm 100%.
Dude. I'm 100% oat. Like I don't drink regular milk anymore. Like if I have cereal, it's with oat milk.
It's so good. A big old glass of milk with breakfast, man. What are we talking about?
It's really good. It's not because I've had other ones. I think I started off with because I tried almond milk. Not my thing. Honestly, all the other milks are just not my thing. And I was like, I'll try oat. I haven't tried this one yet. Oh, I know what it was. Somebody brought me a latte and it had oat milk in it. I'm like, this is not bad. It tastes different, but it's not bad.
It's definitely different, dude.
Right. So I just took a chance and I got some Silk oat milk. No offense to Silk. It was trash.
Trash, dude.
Trash. So then
it tastes like something's wrong with it.
Yeah. But I knew there was a milk out there for me because I just had some and I ended up going with the Planet Oak. That shit is so amazing. Good. You know what? We don't get paid to say this kind of stuff. We don't get paid for anything, really. So, like, I'm just letting you know, if you like oat milk or you're thinking of switching, because you don't want to be drinking soy all the time. It's not good for you. Oat milk, solid. Absolutely solid. Good shit.
I didn't know you were an oat milk fan.
Oh, yeah, dude. I've been drinking oat milk for about a year now.
Oh, my goodness. Look at this guy.
I can't
all healthy and such.
I don't know about that, but the only thing I can't really drink milk, like, just by itself anymore. I cook with it if it needs be because, milk has a consistency situation.
Yes.
So if you're baking or something, I don't really want to like switch out milk or for like soy milk or almond milk or whatever. You got to go with the real deal. It's not going to kill you. Take a damn Lactate and grow up. You know what I mean? But
man, I don't know.
Lactate works for me. But again, okay. I have so many. We're just going to say every brand right now. I have another thing I was going to talk about, but maybe I won't. But yeah, man, it's the Planet Oak, ladies and gentlemen. What kind do you get, Steve? There's like 3 different kinds.
The original.
Yes. Don't fuck with the sweetened. It's not good. Well, unless you just like sweet stuff. I think that Planet Oak, the original, tastes as close to milk as you're gonna get. Do you know what I mean? Like it still tastes like oat milk, but it's as close to like the real deal as you're gonna get.
I didn't like milk, so oat milk is really good because it doesn't give me the milk idea. It's like, oh, this tastes like its own. Now, mind you, I tried oat milk before and it was trash. But this time when I bought oat milk about like a month ago, I said, okay, let me wipe my brain clean of any expectation. And then when I drank it, I was like, I'm in. It's over. I love it for what it is.
Yeah, I've turned on probably like 4 or 5 people to it.
It's good, dude.
This is a trend, guys. Try it. Next time you're at the store, maybe you're at the store right now. Go to the aisle and get yourself some Planet Oak. If they don't have it, ask for it by name.
You said you were going to review something else that you ate?
No, we're talking about like named products. things we've tried. And I know we don't get paid for anything. So I'm like, do I really want to do this or not? But I think I will because it's a rave review.
Go for it.
So you're a TikTok man now.
Okay.
Do you ever see any ads? Maybe you don't, but do you ever see any ads? Because they're very procured, right? All of the way that they solicit things to you. Okay. Have you ever heard of Dr. Squatch?
No.
All right, Dr. Squatch. I saw this on TikTok, and Brian on PCL was talking about it. This was like months ago, though, and I heard him talk about it, and I didn't even know what the brand name was. But they're a soap brand. They make these artisan soaps, and they also do like non-aluminum deodorants and shampoos and all that, crisp and clean, no caffeine kind of stuff, right?
Okay.
So the whole joke of the commercial is it's like they're like totally geared towards like young guys. So it's like this long haired dude with a beard walking up to like these cute 20-something-year-old girls and like, hey, smell this. Don't you want your man to smell like this? And it makes it out like, oh, they're irresistible. You know what I mean? Like you got to leave a saucer of milk outside your door for all the ladies that are going to be coming up. This is really lame. Yeah. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna. I didn't make the connection of what Brian was talking about, but I'm like, it's just funny. I kind of want to try it just to see, not to see that, but like I want to see. I don't know why I wanted to try it. Actually,
yes,
it was the smells that got me. It was the scents rather. It was like there's like bay rum. Who doesn't want to smell like bay rum? There's like a pine tar. All these weird names. What got me was they had this other one come out and it was like the space edition, and I was like, oh, what the hell? I'll try it. It was like one was called Moon Rock, the other one is called Mars Bar. And the other one is called like Area 51 something or other. Okay. So I bought these 3 soaps, right? And I tried out the Moon Rock. And you know what it was? It was soap. It just smelled like soap. It didn't do anything to me. And I'm like, okay, this is not like I clearly got duped here, All right. I bought into their advertisement. But it had like loofah and volcanic ash in it, Steve. So it's very good. Like it's an exfoliant, right? Okay. So I'm noticing as I'm washing myself with this bar, and I don't think you're supposed to do this, but I rubbed it across my face because if you have like large pores, I guess those little loofah things can get stuck in your pores. Didn't happen to me. But afterwards, I got out and I'm like, my face feels like a baby's ass.
Oh, that's
like
wonderful.
just smooth and wonderful. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, there's something to this. So I blasted through that soap real quick. So it was funny because when I came out and I mentioned the whole exfoliant thing. Suddenly, my soap decreased by half within like 2 days. But yet no one's using it. That's all I'm going to say. It's a miracle. I don't understand it. Like I have it away from the shower. No one's using it, Steve, but it's gone really quickly. I'm not going to say any names, Gail, but you know what I'm saying?
Yes,
so,
I'm with you.
Yeah. Well, she didn't touch it though. But so I said, okay, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do the next bar now. So the third bar, which is the Area 51, smells like, I'm hesitant to use this one because it smells like sandalwood. And patchouli.
I like sandalwood.
It's okay. It's fine, but it has like a patchouli thing going on, and for me, that's not my scent. You're smelling kind of like a Nag Champa incense or something like that, and maybe it's not as strong as what I was thinking. But let's get back to the second bar, which is the Mars Bar, right? Very citrusy, Steve, very spicy, and I gotta tell you something, man. I'm being real about this. Dr. Squatch is the shit. Like it's a really good soap. Oh my God. I'm sold. I told the kids. I said, "Hey, you want something? You want to get me something for Father's Day? Get me some Dr. Squatch. That's all I need."
You have to order this?
Yeah. I'm not. And again, I'm not getting paid to do this. I'm not looking for Dr. Squatch to.
No, I was wondering if you had to order it. You couldn't go to like Save Mart and you were running and be like, "Oh, you know what? There's Dr. Squatch."
Not yet. I don't think that's the case, but I could see that happening in the future. It's good stuff. I'm not gonna lie. It's really nice. So if you're looking for a soap. You're a guy and you want to smell a little manly. I don't count on like the ladies going meow meow at your door. Gotta be like a Pootie Tang and leave a saucer of milk out for them.
Saudate.
Yeah, you little kids, you don't know about what I'm talking about. But I recommend the Dr. Squatch, Steve. I honestly think you should give it a shot. Look it up. It's not bad. It's not hokey. I thought it was a joke. I kind of wanted just to laugh about it, really. And it was like, oh, $7 to laugh. Sure, let me try it out.
But it was good.
It's good shit. I would highly recommend Dr. Squatch. And I don't get paid to say this stuff. What else can we talk about that doesn't pay us?
Hey, dude.
What's up?
I can't believe you brought up Pootie Tang. Do you remember what his movie was called on the movie?
If you say it, I'll probably go, oh, yeah, that's it. But
sign your pity on the runny kind.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know how long I laughed for no reason at that line?
What's it? Sign
your pity on the runny kind.
On the runny kind, yeah. Sarate.
Oh, that was such a funny movie, G. Pootie Tang was ridiculous. Remember, it came from the Chris Rock show.
No.
He was a ridiculous character on the Chris Rock show.
I remember I was at work one day and this guy came in talking about Pootie Tang. And he was crying while he was talking about it. He was laughing so hard. I'm like, I got to watch this.
Dude,
so
so funny.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't really I'm not the all-time Pootie Tang fan, man, but it's like I said, I've seen it a few times, probably not in its entirety because it's just one of those things that I'll just stop immediately and watch it when it's on television.
For sure.
But it is it's like one of my favorite movies for not knowing the movie by heart.
Totally. And you know who directed it?
Mm-mm.
Louis C.K.
I'm not going to stop loving Pootie Tang because Louis C.K. directed it.
It was, and the fun, and I just didn't, I remember seeing his name. I was like, what a weird name. What Louis a strange C.K.? Name. Yeah. But when you later on, I saw when I was watching his stand-up, I was like, I remember that name from something. And then it clicked. I said, oh my God, he directed Pootie Tang. I forgot all about that. I haven't watched Pootie Tang in years, dude.
I love it when he takes his belt off and starts whipping people.
Dude, how good is that freaking movie? That's a good movie, man. I think it for people who were around our age at that time, it's a good movie. If I showed Maj that movie today, he'd be like, dude. But I don't know, because Maj loved The Jerk. Loved it. So maybe he would like that style of comedy.
There are some styles of comedy that I just adore, and I try to turn people onto him, and they're just like, no, thank you. One of the movies, which is seriously one of my favorite movies, comedy movies ever. Have you ever heard of Kung Pao Enter the Fist?
I have, dude.
There's no way that I can describe this movie, Steve, where it's going to seem funny to you. You just have to watch it. That's the best thing I can
watch
say.
It. I
you
watched
like
it. Oh, no. I just don't remember because you watch it with a bunch of friends.
Yeah.
And
no, totally. It's totally one of those movies.
And we're at his apartment and we're talking. I didn't even focus.
Yeah. Go back and watch that shit. It is absurd. It's just absurd. Matter of fact, I think I have it. I could send you a copy if you're interested.
Dude, yeah, I'm very well. I bet you it's on Netflix.
Probably. It's just, you got to understand, it is the dumbest damn movie you'll ever see, but it is also one of the funniest. It's absurdly funny. So yeah, check that one out too. Pick of the week, Kung Pao, Enter the Fist.
Is that your pick of the week?
I think so.
Not any of the movies.
And Pootie Tang. We're gonna go a double feature. Pick of the week, Pootie Tang and Kung Pao, Enter the Fist.
Whilst doing your DDPY.
I haven't started that yet, so I can't. If I can get back on it again, then I'll be good, and I'll start talking. I
thought you were still doing that, dude.
No, man, you don't listen to me. I haven't stopped. I haven't done that shit in months because I had tendinitis in my wrists.
Oh, how's that coming along?
It's good to go. I'm actually ready to start again. I'm not drinking these days.
Look at this guy.
I've lost about, I don't know. I'm guessing right around 10 pounds.
Hey, dude, how much are you trying to lose?
I could probably afford to lose 25.
Oh, that's not too. That's right up. That's cakewalk for you, man.
I'll be a little thin. It'll be noticeably thin, but I just want to. I'm trying to get rid of the middle-aged body thing that's happening. The dad bod.
Yes. It's the older you get, the harder it is to get to lose that.
Don't I know this, Steve? Don't I know?
You know what I'm saying? It's you eat anything like over the weekend, if you have a cheat day, in your brain, you see it on Monday. You're like, I look bigger.
Well, the scale's your enemy. You can't, I'm not even looking at the scale anymore. I'm trying to just look at my body and see the results.
Yeah.
So right now, this is just like, you stopped being a lush and you don't have 4 pounds of IPA on your gut anymore.
That's so you don't drink at all.
Well, I'm not saying that I'm never going to.
I'm not saying you're not going to, but I'm saying you don't do the nightly before you go to bed thing.
No, I stopped for months. Quit. No, I'll be honest with you. I stopped for months. And then right around November, I said, screw it. It's my birthday. I'm going to have a drink. And the next thing I know, I'm back into the habit again. So I was never like someone that drank, to get drunk nightly or anything like that. But I did kind of develop this, and I hate even using the word, but it was more of a habit of, I get off late. I get off at sometimes 2:00 in the morning, which is not good, considering, but I have like an insomnia situation going on. So I'll just have an IPA. It'll make me kind of sleepy. And then it suddenly became like the evening thing. And I went, I can't do this because I'm like just putting calories on and then going to sleep.
Yes.
And it just didn't make any sense. And it became a thing where it's like, it wasn't like a physical addiction. You know, it was like a mental thing where it's like, well, I got to get this. It was just weird. And I started getting into a territory where I didn't feel comfortable with myself. Fair. So I decided to go ahead and stop again because it's like, I don't need that. That's just an extra thing I need. It sounds like alcoholic stuff. And I don't really want to. I mean, I'm sure I have some form of that, you know, but because I'm a veteran, you know what I'm saying? But like, I just need to like, kind of like be a little bit more healthy these days. I want to see grandkids and such. So I think I'm just going to go back to how I used to be before all this shit started, where it's just like, oh, I'm with friends and it's a social gathering. I'll have a beer or two. Not like I have to have this by myself every evening kind of thing. Because quite honestly, that's how it was getting.
You know, so you drink water instead.
I drink a lot of water now.
That's really good, man.
Yeah. But I fell off though, man, because of that graduation party. We had a lot of leftovers, you know, a lot of leftover stuff.
Of course. Which
means we had a lot of leftover sodas. And Coca-Cola, dude, is a huge addiction for me. So I had to like get rid of the Coca-Cola and now I'm okay.
Well, the other day I had my first, I think I talked about it on the podcast. A few weeks ago, I had my first 7-Up or Sprite in ages. And I was like, Sprite is underrated. Sprite is underrated. And the people at work were like, no, you just haven't had Sprite for a while. Sprite is totally normal. I'm like, no.
You know what? I'm going to go ahead and agree with you because some of the soft drinks that we had that were left over were in fact Sprites. And I left them.
Those?
Like it was funny. We had like Sprites in a section and Cokes in a section, Pepsis, etc. And we just sort of left. Suddenly all the Sprites were gone. Or excuse me, all the Sprites were left and nothing else was there. So I said, I'm going to try one of these, man. I feel bad for the Sprite. I'm going to give it a shot. It's good shit.
Fantastic, bruh.
It really is.
I put some grenadine off in that piece.
Oh, you made yourself like a little Shirley Temple.
Yes, that's what Maj is addicted to right now. He has all the ingredients all the time in the refrigerator.
He's a Shirley Temple guy, huh?
He loves Shirley Temples, dude.
Yeah, at least they're not like Rob Roy's or something. He's just having a nice little drink.
What's a Rob Roy?
It's an alcoholic drink, is what I'm saying.
How do you make it?
It's like Scotch or whiskey or Scotch whiskey and then vermouth. I was trying to remember what the...
Ooh, I hate vermouth.
I don't like vermouth either.
Anything that has vermouth, it overtakes everything in the drink.
Yeah, and then you add bitters to it.
Oh my God, dude.
Yeah.
No.
You might as well just put someone's dick in a glass and drink it. It's no thank you. No thanks. I don't need your dick water.
I do want to get into Scotch though.
Oh, okay.
With a tumbler.
I can't. There's just a certain part of me that's like, don't do it. You don't want to be that guy. I'm talking to me, not you.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I can't be that guy. It's talking about Scotch and shit. And then the next thing is going to be cigars.
Oh, dude,
and I just can't. I know people love cigars and some people enjoy them and they're fine with it, but there is a certain level of a certain sect of people that just overdo it. Do you know what I'm saying? Like it's just too much. Just calm the fuck down with your cigars.
Like
I get it. Enjoy it. Have a cigar. Have 4. Enjoy yourselves. But just don't do that thing. And I can't explain what that thing is, but I think we.
No, I know. I get invited weekly to a cigar get.
Hey, do you want to go sit in a room and smoke?
Oh, dude. No. They're like, oh, we have Scotch, and you should come out to the place. And I'm like,
how's this sound? How's this sound? How about you sit with me in this smoky room for like 3 hours, and when you come out, your breath is going to taste like ass for 6 days straight. No matter how much you brush your teeth. No, thank you.
No. And especially they're like, meet us at the country club, and right off that I'm like, no. So I'm at Get Out. No, thank you. I've seen this movie before.
Hey, have you met my son, Liam? Where's he at? Oh, he's that guy that's in the corner doing golf swings in the air.
Those are the first dudes that can be like, hey, Steve, so what business are you? That's the first. I'll be like, I'm not talking to these people. I'll be like, you know what? I'm not going to, I cannot do the cigar at the country club thing. I would love to play golf, but I'm not doing the cigar Scotch thing.
But you know something? This attitude I have towards that stuff is what exactly keeps me inside my house all the time. So it's kind of like a knock to me. You know what I mean? Like a shame on me for not being more open to certain things. Because I'm very quick like that to just be like, ugh.
You like golf.
But I give you shit about that sometimes. Like y'all say something, you'll be like, ugh. And I'm like, oh, come on, open up your mind. So I really should take a little bit of my own medicine here, some of my own advice, and open up my mind. At least go and try it. It just seems like the worst thing in the world to me, but I don't know until I've actually tried it, right?
I wouldn't do the cigar thing.
No, not the cigar thing. I'm just
okay. I was like,
no, I've tried the cigar thing. I don't like cigars. I just
Scotch?
don't.
Yes.
I've had Scotch and I don't like it.
Oh, so what are you going to try?
Like, I'm just saying, like, when people present something new to me, something foreign that I may not have any knowledge with, but may have like a misconception, you know what I mean? Or like a predetermined opinion. Uh-huh. I think that I should probably just put that down and try to go with some of these things sometimes.
All honesty, I was invited to, I went to a lunch at a country club recently with a buddy that invited me. And I will admit, it was very pleasant. As much as I'm making fun of it.
No, I'm sure it is.
But it is those people. It's exactly what you hear and you think in your mind.
Yeah.
That's totally what it is.
And that's the problem, is that I just don't gel with people like that. It's not
I know.
I don't look down on them. Yeah. I really don't. I mean, it may sound like that. It's just that I just don't relate to that. It's just not my thing. I'll put it into marching band terms. Like, you know, when my kids were in marching band, if you're remotely involved in the band as a parent, a lot of times you're going to be with the parents that are like super involved, and they're usually like richer people that are, they may do a lot of donations from their company to the band to keep it going and stuff. And you tend to like rub elbows with these people, and they're all super nice, but they're just talking about shit that I'll never be able to do. And quite frankly, it just makes me feel poor and ignorant. So I just stop. I just don't like to do that. That's my hang up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I get it. I think the circle, like they said, they're like, we've noticed that the happiest people are people, it's not about the money you have. It's about who is in the immediate vicinity of you. If you have a bunch of people that make the same amount as you, you're really happy. But if you make if you're around a rich bunch of people and you make the money you make, it makes you compare yourself to them.
Hello
there.
Now
you're depressed. Yep.
Hi there, Dan Ramirez. You've called because you've just described me perfectly. It's a complex thing. It's it's definitely a Dan thing. You know what I mean?
It's an everyone. It's a human thing.
I don't know. I could open up a whole like different part of this podcast to like shit that's been going on in my head lately about complexes and stuff like that, but I won't do it. But let's just say that's kind of like a hot button for me.
Have you ever? I know and this is the last question on it. Have you ever gone to counseling for yourself, just you?
I know. That was a combination of acai bowl mouthful, laughing, and almost choking at the same time.
Dude, that sounds, I'm sorry, but that sounds incredible, dude.
It's incredible, but it's now taking over the podcast, and I'm having to constantly mute.
All right, I'm about to order one. Screw it.
Do it right now.
All right, go ahead and tell your story about counseling.
I've been considering it. I'll say that. There's really not a lot to this. It's just that I have been considering that. I feel like I'm at a point right now where I think I'm going through a midlife crisis, if I'm being honest with you.
Really?
I'm at this weird point in my life right now where like I think maybe we all do this. I don't know. Because it's like the first time I've done this, but like my youngest is now graduated. She's off to college. And there's this weird like void where I'm like, who am I now? You know what I mean? Like we worked very hard to get her to this point, and my son, of course, to this point. But like I'm talking about my youngest because there's no more other kids to do this with, is why I'm bringing her up. And it's like, where do I go from here? Now it's time to start working on me, working on us, meaning Gail and I. We've always sacrificed everything for these kids. And it's like we're at this weird point where it's like, okay, we need to start getting back to us again. And I need to start getting back to me again, her, back to her again, all that, and, you know, et cetera. But I feel like there are some things that I need to work out in my head. And I am thinking about going to a counselor and talking to him.
Really?
I think it might improve, like, how I see life. I feel like I've gotten a case of the bitters lately.
I will say that I will say that it changed my life forever.
You went to counseling?
Sure did.
You don't go now?
No. But I went for 2 years.
I'm seriously considering going. Did you go without getting like too off track? Did you do it within our place of employment? Insurance?
Yes, I sure did. I did it while it was during the time, right? The tail end of the word into Heroes of Noise.
That's cool. I'm glad that you did it. I'm glad it worked out for you.
Yeah, it was one of those things where like they said, I thought I was okay, but they're like, the good time to work on your car is when it doesn't break down. So that it doesn't break down. Don't wait until it explodes.
Yeah.
I felt myself being way more edgy with people?
Yeah.
Why did I snap at that person? And I was just like, okay, I know, because they're just like, I found a lot of people saying, are you okay? And I'm like, I'm Steve. I'm normally they're always like, are you all right? You good? I'm like, oh, I need to go to counseling. And for 2 years, I went to counseling, some sessions of which it felt like, oh, I'm doing great. And apparently nothing happened. And then the next week he will bring up something. It's like, you said something last week that it's not a normal thing you normally say. So we want to concentrate on that. And I'm like, man, I'm so glad I'm here. I wouldn't even clock that. So yeah, it was wonderful, dude. Absolutely wonderful.
Well, I've really been trying to like dance around this, and I don't want to spend too much time on it, but I think honestly, the timing of you asking this question and what you just said right now, this last sentence that you said, sort of plays into me answering you this question. And it's that I think last week I was not able to express myself in a way that I felt comfortable with. Whereas I felt like my feelings were valid on our show. I'm talking about on our show. I felt like I came at you super hard last week. And excuse me, quite frankly, I've been a little bit embarrassed about it the whole time. So I'm sorry, guys, this might not be the most entertaining show, but since we're tapping into Dan's psyche, yeah, I felt like I had valid feelings, but the way that they came out was sort of like, it's like people that don't talk about their problems. And then, like you're saying, the car broke down. You know what I mean? Like I should have sort of like pieced this out and done maintenance on said car, if you will, if we're going to speak in metaphors. And what happened was the car broke down, and that's what came out of my mouth last week. You know what I mean? Like, I shouldn't have gotten so pissed off about a concert, but at the same time, it was more than that, which we don't have to get into. It was just that the way that I handled that, I had to go back and listen. Like, I rarely do that anymore, but I had to go back and kind of like listen to what I was saying. And I just heard this tone in my voice that I hate. I'm embarrassed that it's out there. It's out there. I'm not going to take it off. I don't think I said anything that was too crazy. But if there was ever an episode where like, man, Jerry, like, are there any Heroes of Noise episodes where Dan's just being an absolute fucking asshole? I believe episode 160 was that episode. So for that, I apologize. It's just, there were some real feelings there that we don't really get a chance to talk much for some reason lately. Like, it's just not happening. We talked, like, literally, I think this is the first time I've talked to you in a week since the show. So I think I just built shit up and then it just all came out. And like, I had an expectation of how something was going to go and it didn't go. And I don't think I was like, I think we both could have like changed our tone a little bit. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, it fucked me up a little bit. Getting back to what you're saying, I said, you know what? That's not me. And I think that it's like I think it's a culmination of a lot of things going on right now. And for people out there that aren't aware of this, which should be like every single one of you, literally, I actually reached out to Steve and I said, hey man, I really don't like the way that went down. I'm sorry. I forgot exactly what I said, but I basically apologized. And Steve was very cordial and said, it's just trying time or whatever. But I personally, I don't know if I would have said that. It's just that I know that I need to get some thoughts out. So yeah, I think that I'm going to be going to counseling pretty soon. There's something going on with me, man. Like it was fog for a while. I don't know what it is. I think it's midlife crisis. It's my kid leaving. It's a whole bunch of shit going on. There's a lot of change in my life. So yeah, I think I should probably stop talking about it because this is not going to be a fun show if I continue down this road. Yeah. But at the same time, you tapped into something by asking me that question.
Oh, dude, it was a life. The funny thing is, it's funny how, because me by myself, I wouldn't have gone. I went for the first time for marriage counseling, and then I stopped when I got a divorce. I'm like, I don't need it anymore. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I'm good. Everything's kosher. And apparently, as much as people don't want to say, a person on the other side of things, your wife, your ex-wife, wasn't the cause of all of your problems, Steve. You were the cause of some of her leaving did not make you magically, there were times where I was snappy and mean to her. And I never, we were mean to each other, but mean to each other means that I was mean to her too. So she was not the only problem. So when she left and I stopped going to counseling, there was still a problem there. And I just said, oh, since she's gone, my problem's gone.
I get
it's just
that.
not how it works.
I get it.
And so that's when I ended up going back. But yeah, you're going to love it. I'll text you the name of, if you want a name, there's one guy, another friend of mine. This is so weird. Last year, another friend of mine being like, hey, Steve, you went to counseling, right? I'm like, yeah. What was your counselor's name? And you don't ask questions. I just gave him the name. I didn't want to be like, Why are you no? Hey, here he is, done and enjoy. And I talked to him recently. He's like, man, that guy was I think he might have left, but if he didn't, he was fantastic, man. That dude.
Yeah,
he was really good. But the person they give you off the jump on our place of work is going to be fine, dude. Whoever they just roll the dice.
I've heard some bad things about. Like, it's not so much that the people that are speaking to you are like poor at their career or their jobs, I should say. It's that you get like one a month.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, that's how it is now. I don't know, it had something to do with COVID.
I had bi-weekly.
I would need that for sure, because I'm all fucked up in the head. And quite honestly, I've never really been opposed to counseling, but I have been apprehensive for the fact that I know I'm more fucked up than I think I am. And I'm not sure if I'm ready to like open up those channels.
Yeah, I understand that. Yeah,
so,
I understand.
But I'm clearly going through something right now. And I think, quite honestly, and I've always been honest on this show to a point where people have even told me I've said too much. You know what I mean? Or I've said, there's just been things. Hey, you know what? It is what it is, man. You put a microphone in front of me, I'm going to be myself for the most part.
Same with me.
And this is just going to be one of those episodes, I think, where people maybe look back on it later and go, he's doing better now. I'm not ready for a breakdown, like a mental breakdown, but I think that I'm at a point in my life where I have a lot of stressors going on and I'm not entirely sure how to handle these things. And it's bleeding into the show. It's bleeding into my work. It's bleeding into my personal life. And it's like, it's time to do that. So it's weird that you asked me that question today. Maybe you asked me because you sensed I needed it, but it's definitely something that's going to happen very soon because I got to like flip the script and get back to normal again.
What I do like is that I love your optimism because I already know you're saying bare minimum you're living till 96, midlife crisis. Bare minimum 96 is happening.
Give me
I love that. No, keep it there.
Sure,
that's good.
Okay,
that's a now, but 96. If you're going to still be up and at 'em, boy. At 96, you're going to be able to tell people the things you've seen. I bet you bringing up Dogecoin is going to be like, what are you even? What? Dogecoin.
Dogecoin.
I would pay money to see Dan at 96 telling these young people, be like, when I was young, Dogecoin. They'll be like, what the hell are you talking about?
Or they might be like, shit, you got in early? That's pretty amazing.
That's true. That could happen too. How is that going for you?
It's fine. I mean, like, there's people that are freaking out. They're freaking out, like, because like the crypto market is so volatile right now, and it's like Bitcoin's down, everything's down right now, right?
Is Ethereum down?
Ethereum's down. You name it, they're all down right now. Now, I'm not going to get into the crypto corner news, but I know, like, I think it was like El Salvador. Was it yesterday that I read that? I think it's El Salvador, but I could be wrong about that. They have actually legalized it as legal tender.
Hey,
so. That's saying something. I know everyone's all mad at Elon Musk right now. And I don't base my I've made jokes like, oh, he's going to make me rich one day or something, but I don't base my life on what the fuck Elon Musk says.
He's an interesting dude, man.
Yeah. I noticed that there was a trend at first when he would tweet something. Hey, look what happens. This cheap little shit coin I bought like shoots up and then it goes back down again or whatever. But I think that that's kind of going by the wayside. But people are like freaking out like, oh my God, it's not doing anything. It's just going sideways. Listen, people, you have to remember that in March, it was like 7 cents and we're at like 34 cents right now.
That's huge.
It's huge. I mean, it's
huge,
not
dude.
Obviously Bitcoin money or anything like that or Ethereum, what have you, but this is just the beginning and I'm totally fine with leaving it there. Like I said from the beginning, I didn't put money in there that if I lost it, I would be destitute. So it's just there, right? And I've already taken my profits and I'm just letting this happen. If nothing happens, fantastic. I take that money. If it goes away, fantastic. Whatever. It sucks, but like I'm fine. Nothing changes in my life.
Gee, look, that's the way to think about it. That's the way to think about it. You've always thought about it exactly like that. You're like, I didn't put too much where it's going to bother me. That's why it's so easy for you to be like, whatever, because you did it wisely.
Yeah, I've seen people on Twitter talking about, and I think some of it's like bots and stuff like that too.
Oh yeah.
But there have been people like, I hate you, Elon Musk. I put my all of my life savings into this and blah blah. That's not Elon Musk's fault. That's your dumbass fault.
Yes.
And people need to take responsibility for themselves, you know?
Also, if you're 20 years old and you put your whole life saving, you'll be fine. Just calm down.
Just calm the hell down. Everyone thinks they're so old at 20, in your 20s. And I hate to sound belittling, but like if you're in your 20s, enjoy your youth because you're young as shit right now. Trust me when I say this. You'll probably get annoyed when you're like at work or something, you're like turning 26 and you're like, oh man, I'm getting old. And then the dude that's like 40 something goes, hey, you think you're old? You just, I get that because I've been in both positions before, but you're young as fuck. Enjoy your youth.
Dude, it's such a true statement that the youth is wasted on the young. It's so true, dude. It is. Because when we get older, we're like, oh, daggone it. If only I could do it. But anyway, I know we have some wonderful contact information that people are going to be wanting to talk to both of us. Send in some information. Send in some cool book suggestions, some podcast suggestions, ladies and gentlemen.
Enough of the self-help, and Dan's going to be okay stuff, I promise, all right? Dan's going to be just fine. Let's talk about some stuff that we normally do here.
I kind of like self-help, you know what I'm saying?
Is that a masturbation joke? See, normally I'd be like, oh yeah, I'm a little fucked up right now. So.
You're like, let me get this straight.
The one masturbation joker.
Oh, dude.
You're going to hear this episode's going to be from Steve Hudson.
Real quick. I'm sitting there, I'm playing at the church, and the bass player, super nice guy. He said, hey, I saw you got a podcast.
Oh no. I'm up against the ropes this week, people. I'm sorry.
And I said, oh, you listen. I said, hey man, I'm a different person. He's like, hey, no judgment. So for him to say no, I was like, well, good.
Please tell me it's not because of episode 160.
No, he's like, I started from the beginning. I was like, oh,
then we're fine. We're fine. No, I don't care about any of that.
The Babadook, dude. I'm like, I'm gonna get fired. I'm getting fired in T-my. I'm ready. I'm like, okay, the pastor's gonna be pulling me in yesterday. I'm done. Okay, it's been fun.
Well, I mean, listen, for anyone listening out there that's scouting Steve, it's always me if you haven't noticed. So.
Oh, wrong. Babadook was a lot of me.
Dude, your filthiest is still innocent. You know what I'm saying? I actually say all the things that you're like insinuating. That's not good. That makes you look bad.
No. Here's the thing. It has been proven, no question, scientific studies, the people who swear are smarter. It's over. I looked it up. It's totally true. And I'm like, so that's why I told Belle whenever she's like, ooh, now she's just like, oh, cool. I can just talk the way I talk. I'm like, yeah, because it legit means you're smart. Smarter people curse. It's proven, the end. So I'm like, I'm just in such a habit. I tell her, I'm like, hey, don't trip. And so she's like, I'll say what I want. And she does. Fine. Perfect.
I'm telling you, dude, that entire episode, I just cringed all the way through it. I'm being honest with you. Every single person out there listening, like I was just a dick and I apologize for it, but I couldn't listen to that episode. Like I did. Like if I was just to listen to it just for the fun of it, I wouldn't have been able to do it. I listened to it because I wanted to see how far down the asshole rabbit hole I fell, and I'm pretty embarrassed about it, dude. I think it's fucking with my mood right now too, because I haven't really talked to you since then. But oof, just ugly. Like I apologize, people. I don't like to apologize about shit on the show. Like I should feel free. Someone once told me don't apologize for anything on a podcast, and I tend to agree with that. But in this case, I am just disgusted with my behavior last week. And by the way, I think I say the F word enough. The amount of times it came up, it's just gross, dude. Just ugly. I'm very sorry, people. Seriously.
I will also say this, man. I don't agree with that sentiment. If I say something wrong to you on the podcast, it doesn't matter if it's on the podcast. I will apologize. I will apologize to someone, no matter what in life, however, even if you text, if you call people, in my opinion, make sure you're apologizing, because life is so short. You don't know if that person's going to be here tomorrow. And is that the way you want to leave things? Really? Just apologize. It's fine. Anyway, go on.
Hey, all right. Now let's make it all wacky with some funny music.
Hey, blank. Whatever happened to that song?
Which one? The original? Okay, it's going to be really contrasty, but just for you, Steve. I can't. I'm just going to lean into the rest of the show until we get into the reviews. Ladies and gentlemen, this is how it goes down. I can't play wacky music today. My head's all fucked up. If you want to get a hold of the show, hit us up at heroesofnoisepodcast@gmail.com. You can reach us at Twitter at Heroes of Noise, Steve at SE_Hudson Music, and myself, Dan at DanQPublic. You can go to www.heroesofnoise.com, and there you can leave us a voicemail. You can subscribe to all of our shows here, every single one of them. They're all on there. You can have links to other, like our friends of the show. You can go and check out their podcast. all the stuff I tell you each week. It's all there. I just couldn't put the wacky music behind it. I'm not in the wacky music mood. I need to flip it, and this is where I do it. So let's do some reviews.
Let's do it.
All right, man. So like, I think we watched two of the same. Like we watched two things separately, and then two things, quote unquote, together. Shall we do the separate ones first?
Yes, because one of the ones we watched together, I am going to be raving like a lunatic.
Okay, all right. I think I know what it is. Well, go ahead and go with yours, man, because I've seen about 15 minutes of the first episode, and I turned it off because I had to, and I haven't gone back to it yet. So let's hear about Gangs of London.
Dude, listen, Dan. Here's the funny thing. I've been watching a bunch of stuff that in my brain, I'm like, Dan would love this. Like, this is a Dan show. Now, it's a me show too, but it's a very huge show. Like, a lot of, like, fights that are gruesome for no reason. Like, this is real, actual, if someone gets stuck by a bottle, it, like, you know, jacks him up and blood squirts everywhere. But Gangs of London is the reason that I'm just talking about it is because it was on AMC Plus, and I thought things on AMC Plus were also on AMC. Because in my brain, I'm like, well, I have Shudder. Maybe it does not work like that. So I'm just now getting into it. And the overview is this. The city of London.
That's where the plus comes in, though, man.
That's true.
You know what I mean? I'm sorry. You were saying.
The city of London is being torn apart by the turbulent power struggles of international gangs that control it, and suddenly the sudden power vacuum that it creates when the head of London's most powerful crime family is assassinated. Now, I don't like that they actually gave you that much. Because the goal is for you not to know that the head is assassinated, because it's kind of a surprise in the first episode. But when a power vacuum happens and a very powerful person is taken down, now that powerful person's family is fighting be like, hey, just because he's gone doesn't mean that we're all not as tough. And people are realizing, it kind of does. Because that dude would kill for no reason. And you guys have, emotions and heart. So you guys can't do what he did. It is fantastic. There's even a dope African crew that don't use guns. They pull out these machetes.
Oh, shit.
And just go to work on people.
Keep it real.
I'm like, that's when you just want to just be like, no, killing has to be intimate. So they pull out these gorgeous gold machetes and like they just go room to room and just hack people up. And I'm like, this is a guy you don't want to run into. It's fantastic, dude. I love it. Now, I will say this. I still am partial to Snowfall in this segment of shows. And I'm partial to Snowfall because of Damson Idris. That's it. I think he is a freaking star.
He's a gem.
He is a star. I can just watch him. But as a show in general, Gangs of London is like a movie every time you're watching an episode. It's a movie on screen. And so I'm going to rate it. I'm going to give Gangs of London 3 out of 5 severed hands.
All right. The only thing that like I said, I watched I think it was 15 minutes of it. So for the 15 minutes I saw, Steve, I'll go ahead and give it what'd you give it? 3 out of 5?
Yes.
Yeah, I think I'm right there too. It's 3 out of 5 burning people off the building.
Dude. Holy crap,
You want to start a show off and get some attention.
Right off the bat, I was like, because I was doing the Steve thing where I was folding clothes. Mm-hmm. And I said, these clothes are going to have to go ahead and wait after that. See, I did not expect that. Like AMC, this is a hard R, right?
Oh yeah.
It's a hard, like this AMC is like, no. This is a hard R show. So that burning scene, I was like, Jesus Christ, I've never seen anything like that, bro. Anything like that.
Can you imagine how that would smell?
Oh my God, dude. Can you imagine? Or how that would feel? He pled, bro.
Yeah. I wasn't good. You want to talk about some mean people? This is the show to watch, man. Heartless sons of bitches.
Oh, dude, good show.
I could never be a gangster, dude. I don't think I could. I don't think I could do that.
You could be a boss.
I could be a boss. I could just don't show me. Go handle this.
Like,
just don't tell me what to do.
One of your henchmen come in and be like, hey, I'll prove I killed him. Here's the head and the butt. You'd be like, oh, great.
I'm good.
You just ruined my lunch. Take this acai bowl out.
That would be the worst boss ever. No, I'm good. It's all honor system. I'm sure you did just fine.
Give him a slap on the hand, and when he comes back, he's like, oh, you meant an actual... Yeah, A slap on.
I mean, come on. Do I really need a head in the box right now? What am I going to do with this? I got no place for this. You see all the collectibles I have in this room? I haven't even put those up. Now you want me to put a bloody head up? Come on.
Exactly. They come in and be like, we lost $1 billion. You're like, shh. It hasn't gone to commercial yet. You'd be like, oh, he's watching TV. We can't even tell. Shh, hold on.
Like, guys, I don't even have room for my Star Wars figures, and you want me to put a severed head up on the wall? I don't think so.
You'd be the best. It would be the crime boss that they're like, hey, do you want to go after these crime bosses? This crime boss, the police force would be like, no. He's
going to regulate himself.
Yeah, he's fine. He puts himself in timeout. He's good.
Yeah, he checks himself. He apologizes and everything. Maybe I shouldn't have done that. Sorry for your family.
Yeah, be like, he turns himself in once a week, and I have to tell him to leave.
Jesus Christ. If that's a show right there. Someone write that show for me. I'll be that guy. The reluctant mob boss.
With a conscience. Oh, yeah. What do we do? Dude, that is actually a show. You do know that you just pitched a show.
You hear like the cell.
Oh, dude.
I bet you're wondering how I got here.
It is, you know what's funny? It's very close to Analyze This. Where all of a sudden totally. Like, I have emotion. Mind you, underrated movie.
Neurotic mob bosses.
Oh, it's so good. What do you got, man?
So this is something that I watched a while back because like I said before, we get screeners so far in advance. Mm-hmm. And I came home one night and Gail had watched this. And she's like, you got to watch this show. I love it. I'm like 4 episodes in, which is where I'm at right now. I'm 4 episodes in. Anyway, what I'm talking about is the Netflix series Sweet Tooth. Mm-hmm. Sweet Tooth is an American fantasy drama streaming television series. That's a lot right there. Based on the comic book of the same name by I think it's Lemire. The series was developed by Jim Mickle for Netflix that premiered on June 4th, 2021, and this is what it's about. 10 years ago, the Great Crumble wreaked havoc on the world and led to the mysterious emergence of hybrid babies, Steve. Born part human, part animal. You might get a little reluctant right here, but I can't say there's not animal heads either. So,
hey, bro.
Proceed with caution. Unsure if hybrids are the cause or the result of the virus, many humans fear them and hunt them. After a decade of living safely in his secluded forest home, a sheltered hybrid deer boy named Gus, played by Christian Convery, unexpectedly befriends a wandering loner named Jeopard, played by Nonzo Ananzi. Do you know who that is?
I do not.
Big dude, man. He's a big guy. He's like John Coffey big. You know what I mean?
Oh,
he's a big
Michael
dude.
Clark Duncan.
He's a big dude. Together, they set out on an extraordinary adventure across what is left of America in search of answers about Gus's origins, Jeopard's past, and the true meaning of home. But their story is full of unexpected allies and enemies, and Gus quickly learns the lush, dangerous world outside the forest is more complex than he could have ever imagined. And now let's just kind of talk about the quality of the show and if it's worth watching. And the answer to both of these things is they're excellent. Like it's a very well-written show. It's very interesting. It's a family show that you can watch. There's hints of violence in there because it is a post-apocalyptic world, you know. But the kid that they have playing, what's his name? Christian Convery, the kid playing Gus, is a little star. And it starts off, awesome. Yeah, I mean, like I've basically given you the premise, but the way it starts off, it's like most apocalyptic shows where you see humans dying out, and basically it becomes a, like let's just take like say Walking Dead, for instance. Once the apocalypse kicks in, humans tend to be the worst people out there, right?
It's normal, yes.
Right, and it's normal, really. I mean, we just get worse. That's really what this focuses on. So this kid, he's living with his dad, who is played by, why am I thinking? Will Forte. I don't know why the name wouldn't come to me.
Hey, Will Forte.
Yeah, but he's only in one episode. Spoilers. Oh. It just shows how he was a good man, and he knew that it wasn't, or at least he felt that it wasn't the emergence of these hybrid babies that was causing all the death of everybody. So he takes his kid and he goes into seclusion. He hides out in the mountains somewhere, and he raises his kid for 10 years, basically sheltering him from the outside world, teaching him literature, but literature, according to him, for things that he couldn't, because there's really no place. You can't take your kid to the library unless you're risking a certain death, or being hunted or whatever. So he would like recreate stories, or to the best of his recollection, and like try and like the Velveteen Rabbit and things like that, and like tell him these stories. And so his kid grew up in this weird, like, I don't want to call it like a utopia, but he was just so far removed from everything that he's as innocent as they come. Aww. So when they get sick, it's called The Sick. They get the sick. And it's because it's the first episode. I have no like problem telling you that his dad does get the sick, which leaves him to fend for himself for what I'm assuming is he describes it as all the seasons. So let's just say the better part of a year. until he meets this loner guy, excuse me, played by Ananzi, Tommy Jeopard. And he's just, like I say, he's just this massive guy. There is a backstory to him, as this happens in series like this, but he befriends him. And from what I can see so far, I'm only 4 episodes in. I'm on the 5th episode actually, but I haven't started it yet. This kid has these memories that his dad left him. And I don't know if this is fictitious, because he does tell him some things to kind of make the world, to kind of like better explain the world without actually having to explain the world. You have a kid it's like if you had let's put him in like a little aquarium, now we're giants. It's like, that's his world right there. Right. So he doesn't really need to explain much outside of that aquarium because in his dad's head, he's probably never ever going to get there anyway.
Yes.
So it's him kind of dealing with what his dad has told him versus what the real world's like. And his dad gave him some, he had like some pictures and stuff. He talks about his mom, or at least who we think might be his mom. And he definitely thinks is his mom, is somewhere in Colorado. So once this kid's dad dies, he has to leave his little safe haven and go out into the real world and cross the country basically to go to Colorado to see if he can find his mom and the truth and everything like that. And that's really what it's about. But along the way, there's these people that are called the, what were they called? The Last Men, I think is what it is. Those are the bad guys, and they're the ones that hunt them. You got to be careful because if they'll just shoot you on sight, because the thing with these hybrids is that they're all feral and they don't talk. They don't have clothing, anything like that. They just run wild and which makes them even more like, makes the humans even more afraid of them. You know what I mean? But this kid speaks eloquently, at least for the education that he's had. He dresses, he has opinions, and he's cute and all that stuff. So it's like a completely different ball game with this one. But along the way, they meet up with these people that are called the Animal Army, who are like sympathizers to hybrids. And then a whole thing goes on with them. And that's where I'm at right now. I'm at the point where they have met with these hybrids and something crazy happens, and now the story's changing yet again. I have seen some people post things about the whole series saying that it's fantastic, and I have no reason to think that it really isn't going to be, because from everything that I've seen so far, it's just a very well put together series. There's enough reality put into it where the fantasy doesn't like overtake it, and it just seems like you're just in a post-apocalyptic world or an alternate world where this thing could totally be plausible. And it's the way that it plays out. It's a very good watch, man. Like, I don't ever find myself being bored when I watch these episodes. Oh, and by the way, Steve, it's produced by Susan and Robert Downey, as in Jr.
I think he's going. This might be where he goes next. He's just going to be interested in production. After seeing how much money the people who produced Avengers is, he probably like, you know what? I need to be doing that.
There's some coin in that, I'm sure.
Yeah, there might be some money there.
Yeah. But you know what? I'll just keep it short and sweet. I like this show. I think it's worth a watch. And I will go ahead and give this show, just because I'm only 4 episodes on the 5th episode in, I'm going to go ahead and give it, I'll give it 3 out of 5 Velveteen Rabbits.
I will check it out.
It's worth watching. I think you would dig it, Steve.
I'm in.
I was going to suggest it to you, but I know sometimes you take a while to get to it. So I said, I'll just tell him about it. And if he likes it, cool. If not, oh well.
Oh, I'm in, dude. What are you talking about?
All right.
Yes,
let's move along.
We've watched a few things together.
We have. At least 2.
I'm almost sure we watched a third too.
We'll figure it out on the way.
All right, let's do it.
All right, what do you want to go with first?
Let's go with The Conjuring first.
Okie dokie. Let's see where we land on this one, okay?
All right. So The Conjuring 3, The Devil Made Me Do It. Or is it made... Yeah,
The Devil Made Me Do It.
Okay, so what happened in this movie, ladies and gentlemen, if you're thinking about turning this on? They have put this series on autopilot now.
Yes.
It is an autopilot movie because by the end of the movie, I kind of was just like, wait, what now? What happened? Who did who? What? How? Like, this was a fairly convoluted movie, dude. Like, you really had to stay on your game to be like, okay, is this how demons work now?
Did you have trouble following the stories in the way of you're picking up your phone and shit like that?
No, I had a problem following, when I'm sitting here being like, okay, this demon can do this.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, the rules changed. You're saying that this demon can now you can make deals with these things and they'll adhere to the deals. I'm like, will they now? The very definition of demon is liar. And that's where I was just like, this is a really weird. But again, when they say based off true stories, we have to understand that the Warrens were charlatans.
Oh, for sure.
Total charlatans. So this whole thing, me trying to put in, I think that's what makes it difficult for me with the movies is because they're like, let's put some truth into it. Well, once you try to put truth into it, it all falls apart because none of this is tangible. All of it is ridiculous. So I thought at the end of the movie, I was like, it was just fun. If I would have gone to the theater to see this and paid money, I would have been a little bit annoyed.
I didn't even know that it was on HBO Max. I was prepared to go to the theater to see this because I've seen all the other ones. And I'm really glad I stayed home.
Dude.
I could leave the review right there if you want.
That's my... the thing is, there's not much... I mean, I will say Vera Farmiga, as normal, destroys. She is a destruction zone. Everything she's in, she has... she has just the pull. She has that thing that's like, oh, she's a star. She's a total star. So I love her. And I love Patrick Wilson. It's just...
Is he the one that you called the poor man's Chris Pratt?
I didn't say the poor man's Chris
Pratt. Yeah, you
did.
A long time ago. Was that the guy? I mean...
mean.
But,
well, that's totally him.
Right. So that's what you call him.
Well, because my thing is, I think he is what Chris Pratt is. Like, he was supposed to be him. No question. I wish he was him. I wish Patrick Wilson was Chris Pratt. Because he just has way more screen presence to me.
He does, but I don't know if he has the comedic timing.
No, that's just it. He couldn't pull off Guardians. Guardians would have been way more serious.
Right.
It would have been way
He's
more
a little
serious.
too serious. I mean, that really shows in Watchmen. Pretty much anything that Patrick Wilson is in. I like him. I think he's a fine actor, but he's definitely not doing comedy anytime soon.
And he has the face for comedy. That's the weird part. He has the face where he could be a funny, but I just don't think that's where he leans. But again, the movie was fine. It was fine. Like, I mean, I'll rate it. I'm like, this is a 2.5. No. I would say this is a 2 out of 5 meaningless pendants.
I don't have a lot to say about this one. I sat and watched it, and I will back it with saying that I've pretty much seen every movie in the Conjuring universe so far. Mm-hmm. I'm glad I didn't really because it's not necessary, but I almost went back and just went like Avengers style. I'm going to watch them in the order they're supposed to be watched. And it's not necessary. You don't need to do that.
No.
I think this is out of the 3 Conjuring movies that there are right now, this is by far the worst one.
Yes.
It's, I don't even know if it's a fine movie, Steve, to be honest with you, because I think that a lot of times, I like horror and I wanted to watch this, and I'm not opposed to the Conjuring series, but I just wasn't buying it. And I think that, you're right. They were charlatans, but I feel like the more we stay in the actual Conjuring story, not necessarily the Conjuring universe where you have the Nun and Curse of La Llorona and all that kind of stuff. But I think that it's going to a way where it could be defined as like Christian horror.
Yes.
It's playing very heavy on the Christian belief, and which I'm not opposed to or anything like that, but I'm sort of seeing their agenda now.
Yes.
The whole occult part of it felt like pushed, like it felt forced, if you will. It just didn't feel like we even needed that. I know you have to drive the story with some form of an antagonist and a source of the antagonism, but it just didn't seem like it really needed. I don't know, man. I just felt like they just sat in a room and they went, fuck, I have no ideas. Let's just pull some ideas from the subject hat. What do we got? We've got the occult. And you know what I mean? Like, it was just like they just threw this movie together. And I'm sorry that this is going to be a very loose review, but this was the movie where I'm sitting there really trying to pay attention to it, and my phone just keeps rising up, and I just couldn't get into the story. Vera Farmiga is great, Patrick Wilson is great, but even they weren't really turning on for this one. It felt phoned in. I can't even say it was like the lack of Ed Warren in the story, because without getting into too many spoilers, something happens to him right at the beginning of the movie that puts him pretty much like on the sidelines for the rest of the movie. He's there the entire time. He's just not doing his Ed Warren thing like he normally does in the movie. And so, Lorraine Warren has to kind of like really carry the story. And I don't know, man. I don't know if it was that. Like, I never really thought these movies were fantastic to the point where they're the best, one of the best horror series that exist. I don't think that's the case at all. But I do think it is like pretty solid. You know what I mean? They've built this many movies so far. It's definitely significant. I just feel like this one, when you have that many movies coming out all based around the same thing, eventually you're going to fall flat. Totally. And I think that of all the movies in the Conjuring universe so far, I would have to say that this one, along with La Llorona and The Nun, were probably like the weakest. Basically, what I'm saying is if you like The Conjuring, watch The Conjuring 1 and 2.
Yes.
Go back to Conjuring 2, which I think is a better movie.
Yes.
So, yeah, I mean, I just don't have anything to say. I think the plot was kind of lame. The explanation of like placed totems and things like that just seemed forced. I already knew what was happening with the occultist, as she's called in this. There was nothing about this movie that I will ever go back, like want to go back and watch it again. So I'm sorry. It's like a very vague review. I promise I watched it. It just doesn't really feel like I did. So I did not enjoy this movie whatsoever. I'm going to go ahead and give it like a 1.5 out of 5 witch totems.
That's fair. That is
just not a good movie.
Totally fair.
Terrible review, but totally fair. I'm telling you.
If you can see it for free, see it for free, but have something else going on.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you'll say, I wasted some time.
No, I mean, if you want to be like, you're into completion, I get it. You want to have the whole thing under your belt, then you got to watch it, which is kind of where I'm at. Like even if we weren't talking about it, I would have watched this movie because I've seen all of the other ones. But since it was one of the few things I watched this week, I had to bring it up, but I just have nothing kind to say. I just think it was a piss poor movie. And I just talked about The Unholy. I think I would watch The Unholy again before I watch this one.
Jesus.
Yeah,
oh, that's right. Yeah. I haven't seen that yet.
I would rather see Jeffrey Dean Morgan do a piss poor job in a movie than watch The Conjuring 2 again. I just thought it was lame.
That's a fair review.
It's not kind. It's just the truth.
Now, what else? What did we watch together, Dan? Not together, but we both watched.
Steve, you know the answer, but these folks don't, and they probably do, actually. Let's talk about Disney Plus's brand new series, Loki. We've been anticipating this one for a while.
Dude.
It hit last Wednesday, and I will say this without saying much, I was pleasantly surprised. I'll just start there. It's really hard to base, like I've seen people go, oh, this is the best one so far out of all three, meaning WandaVision and Falcon and Winter Soldier. I can't say that, man. It was like 56 minutes long. But what I will say is I like the approach they're taking with this one where, see, I like all the old MCU references, and one thing that I absolutely love in a show, if it's done right, is time travel or time jumping, things like that. And this particular episode 1 is like chock full of this kind of stuff. It's right up my freaking alley, man. And Tom Hiddleston so far is killing it in this. And it's also got Owen Wilson in it, who is another person that I always say, hey, I could take him or leave him. But usually when he like does a solid performance, I'm like, glad he was there. Yes. That's happening too, man. So what this is about, I'm going to try and break this down without really doing any spoilers. If you've seen Endgame, we could even go back to the Avengers, but let's talk about Endgame, because in Endgame, they do a time jump, and it's the part where they're about to access the Tesseract, and they have Loki as prisoner, and they don't let the Hulk go down the elevator. You know the part I'm talking about? So he gets pissed off and he knocks Tony down. Anyway, if you recall in Endgame, he ends up disappearing. So basically where this takes off, or where this starts from, is when Loki disappears during the time jump in Endgame. And what's going on with this show is that basically Loki has done something to where he has upset the sacred timeline. And because of this, he has been taken by these people that are called the Minutemen, who work for the Time Variance Authority, which is basically this agency that work for these people called the Timekeepers, who have basically reorganized the multiverse into one timeline. They had all this mass destruction, where it was like this multiverse war, mass destruction. The Timekeepers come in and they reorganize the timeline, the multiverse rather, into like one timeline. So if you stray from that, and it could be anything from, just as they put it, being late for work or trying to start a revolution or something like that, you're going to stray from this timeline, and this is where the Time Variance Authority gets involved. They capture Loki. I'm not going to give you all the details of what happens here, but basically this is going to be a show now where, and I'm definitely not going to give you like the very end thing of like, oh, so this is where the show is going. But what this show to me is turning into is going to be like a cop show, like a time cop kind of show thing. I'm all for this shit, dude. I watched it twice. I'm not going to rate it just yet. I want to talk about it a little bit, but I can tell you that I very much enjoyed this, and I'm curious what you think.
I will say this, Dan. I'm calling it now. This is going to be the best MCU show.
I was saving that, Steve, but yes, that's exactly how I feel.
And it will not be close. WandaVision has zero shot. Falcon Winter Soldier, 0 shot. Loki is going to be the best MCU TV show. Period. Off the first episode alone, it's over. I was like, I want more now at this moment. I believed him. Like when he was when they had this conversation, sometimes it could be kind of hokey, but the way they were interacting, because a lot of this, like more than I thought this episode was Owen Wilson and Hiddleston just talking, and Owen Wilson doing his thing. It's just, I said, you know what? I think the point at which I realized that this is going to be better than any other MCU show is there's a scene, and I am not going to ruin this, is very important. There's a scene of Loki seeing something that happens in a timeline.
Mm-hmm.
And I always wondered, hey, how are they going to make this show? And the way they just tied it up in 5 seconds. Just brilliant.
Feige never, ever disappoints, dude. Like,
never.
It's just crazy. He's like, I got this. Don't worry about it. Don't you worry about how it's going to get there. Let me handle that. Just enjoy yourselves.
Dude, it is. Okay, I'm going to go. Here's the thing. If it stays at this level, if it stays this good, it's not only going to be better than the other shows, it's going to put them to shame. Because it's going to be a situation of now, there's a level you have to have. Now there's a certain benchmark to hit. Because Loki is so, the idea is so high. And to be able to write around that idea, to make it tangible to us, is so good. You have to be, because if I tried to explain the idea of this show to someone else, they'd leave being like, I don't even know what the hell he just said. Something about jumping times. I don't know. But they were able to give it to us. And I understand what's happening. I even understand the whole, the corporate thing that they have going on, the office people, and it's just beautiful. It's beautiful. No question, best MCU show that they have. I'm calling it right now, Dan. It's over.
Totally agree with you. I don't think that necessarily means that the other two shows are bad, though, or that they're going to be put to shame. But if you have to do some type of a ranking, for sure, this is the one. And I say that based on the fact that when it comes to, well, I'll say what I was going to say, and then I'm going to ask you a question. So I like the MCU when it comes to like more of the comic-y stuff. Don't get me wrong. I liked Falcon and Winter Soldier, but it tends to lean a little more towards reality, if you will, versus something like, say, WandaVision, where you have, magic and all that kind of stuff. And for me, I get a little more excitement with the aliens and the magic and the special powers and all that kind of shit when it comes to the MCU. So this definitely fits into that category for me. So like if I had to rank the shows off the bat, I agree with you. I think that this is going to be the best one. I would have to go WandaVision second and then Falcon and Winter Soldier third. And that's not taking away from Falcon and Winter Soldier. This is just my particular preference. You know what I'm saying? I'm curious what you think about that, because I know you're big on ranking things and you're big on comparing, like you said, it's going to put the other two to shame. So if you had to rank them, what would you do?
It would be Loki, WandaVision,
Falcon. Okay. Yeah. So we're on this
now.
Page.
Here's the thing. It's funny. I was talking to my mother and we both were like, I would just love a Bucky show.
There's a lot to that character, man.
There is so much. It's just that suit. Anyway.
Your mom watches all that stuff?
Huh?
Your mom watches all those shows?
Yes. Yeah.
That's tight.
She just finished. What happened was she finished Falcon and Winter Soldier, but she had watched it right after Mandalorian. She watched Mandalorian and she called me after the last episode. And she's like, oh, I can't even say it because some people haven't seen it. But she's like, I can't believe blank showed up at the end. Oh my God.
At this point, if you haven't seen it, it's just your damn fault. Turn it off.
We were losing our mind. Because I said, I can't tell you what's going to happen on the last episode. And so she said, maybe Falcon and Winter Soldier wasn't good because I just finished Mandalorian. I was like, oh yeah, you watched the wrong thing before watching Falcon and Winter Soldier. But now I will say, if I watched The Mandalorian, which I loved, and then immediately started Loki, perfectly fine. Because now I'm like, oh, great. it's a double feature of amazing shows. Where if I would have watched Mandalorian and gone into WandaVision or Mandalorian into Falcon, I would have been like, this is a different story. This is different. This is different, bro. I think this is going to be a game changer.
I think so too. And like on top of it too, I mean, maybe not everyone needs this, and I don't necessarily need this, but it's nice to see the Avengers in it. It's related to the Avengers. Yes. I mean, all this other stuff is too, but it's like after the fact or whatever. And this is like, well, like, I don't really want to say too much about it, but remember, there's time jumping involved. You know what I mean? So it's like you get to see some familiar characters. It makes you wonder if you're going to be seeing them often. I'm not entirely sure how they're going to work this. I mean, like really what it is the final line of this first episode. You go, oh shit, I know what's happening now. And it just makes it that much more brilliant, but it doesn't mean that we're not going to get these. I'm not saying that like Chris Evans is going to come in and film something specifically for this movie or whatever, Robert Downey Jr., whatever, what have you. But I have a feeling that we'll be seeing them because they're such a significant part to Loki's story, at least from what we've seen so far. And there's a lot of little rights that need to be wrongs that need to be righted, or I'm not entirely sure how they're going to go about it, but I just feel like we're going to be seeing more of that, more Avenger type stuff, more Avenger related stuff, going back to the movies, filling in questions we may have had from different movies along the way. This is the kind of show that could totally do that. I mean, the other ones could too, but this one just sort of seems like it's tailor made for it. It left me with little questions. And now that I've watched 3 series from Disney Plus, MCU related, I'm starting to wonder if it's all running together. And for instance, this is something that is just so insignificant. I doubt you caught this. I don't know if anyone caught this, but I know that they tend to play with like themes and colors and things like that. Okay. So do you remember the, what is it called here? I actually wrote it down because I just watched it. So I just want to make sure I'm saying the proper terms here, but it is like it's that little time resetter thing. Do you know what I'm talking about? I thought I had it written down what the name of that
little
thing
remote
is.
control thing?
That little remote control thing that resets time.
Yes.
So when they set that thing off, it has like I think it's like an orange colored smoke, but then it goes to like this purple, very familiar purple colored smoke that's in there. I don't think any of these two things are tied together, but I've learned to not question the MCU. You know what I mean? Like they don't do this shit. Usually they don't do it on accident, but that particular color, to the best of my knowledge, is the same color that represented Agatha from WandaVision. And I know it's just like so simple, but think about all the Easter eggs that we found over time. You know what I mean? With these shows. So it probably has nothing to do with it. It was just one of the things I noticed. I was just going to kind of like point out some things that I saw on this one. And if anyone has opinions on this, or you want to hit me up in a private message or email or something like that, do it. I'm actually,
yes.
You know, like I'm curious. I want to know where the temporal aura is going. Why they bring that up. I want to know why the Timekeepers reorganize this multiverse into one timeline. I want to know like what the significance, because there's one part where they go back to France. I'm not going to get into it, but there's a scene in France, and Mobius, or played by Owen Wilson, he's talking to this kid in this cathedral, and the kid, he asks like something happens. I'm not going to say what happens, but he's like, what happened here? Something bad happened. I'll just say that. And he's like, so what happened here and who caused it? And this kid points to this picture. It's a stained glass window, and it's this demon or devil, if you will. So is it a Mephisto thing? You know what I mean? Or because they joked about Mephisto a lot on WandaVision. So are they bringing Mephisto into this now, or is it something completely different? And the reason that I'm like wondering if it's something completely different is this kid gets handed this devil, if you will, hands him a souvenir. I think it was gum. Is that what it was, Steve?
Yes.
And it's called Kablooey. You know, and these are just all these little things. I just want to know. It's the first episode. I'm not supposed to know any of this stuff, but I love the way they paint these little things. Like, why would a devil hand a kid gum called Kablooey?
We know who the devil is.
But we're on the same page about that, though, right? Is it Mephisto or is it this other person, which would make a lot of sense if you see the picture and you kind of look at the details.
And they string you along because you're like, what's happening? And then at the end, I love how, because I'm like, dude, this is going to be a crazy, insane whoever it is. And when they say who it is, I think back and I'm like, there is only one person that could do all that right now. And another thing this show does is really smart is I'm going to get a little bit in the weeds here. It destigmatizes counseling, because that's essentially what happens in this episode. And it also shows that it wants to find out who Loki is when he can't do any of his stuff. Who are you when you're just...
Yeah, when you're stripped down.
When you're stripped down.
Literally at one point.
Yes, exactly. And I'm like, I love how he's like, oh crap, I can't do my thing. Who am I then? And that's when you learn in a little, he does a monologue explaining himself, and it was over for me. I'm like, well, I just saw the best MCU show. After that monologue, yep, it's over. Game over. Let's rock and roll.
Let me tack onto that because, we've seen these cool things that Loki's done throughout the series, right? We're talking about Thor and everything. Could that have been one of the best Loki moments, period?
No question.
So far?
No question.
Yeah. Like, where was this before? I'm glad. See, that's what I love about the MCU, man. They take these characters. Now, Loki was significant. I mean, Loki's been around for a while and very, very popular. But like they did with Wanda, they brought her into the forefront and they made her this badass character, Scarlet Witch. And I'm just wondering what they're going to do now. Like, is Loki, because if you're following the MCU, Loki's fate. So I don't know how this is all going to work into it. If it's going to change things, it is time, and you're not, and the timekeepers are supposed to make sure that things don't get out of control. But this is the MCU we're talking about. I don't.
Anything.
I really wish that we had someone that was like a really strong authority on Loki right now, because I have questions and I don't know how to present these questions really to you. I would rather someone go, oh yeah, and like I can play. Like I like listening to podcasts and they're talking about this shit, and I'm like, oh, that's what I was trying to say.
Yes.
Yes. I'm not there. I've never from day one. I've always said I'm not when it comes to like the comics. I'm not strong in the into the Marvel universe, I should say, and so I have questions, but I know that there are some podcasts that can answer these questions, and I look forward to listening to them. One thing I did like, by the way, was the little nod to DB Cooper.
I did, yeah, that was so funny.
And it makes me wonder when they did that, much like time travel shows, are we going to see a lot of that in the future? You know what I mean? Or the past, for that matter. It depends on what we're talking about. But like just where, oh, well, you're responsible for that. I love all of that shit.
It's the way that because there's only one way, and I can't even, nope, that's a spoiler too. There's only one way that he lives, and it sucks because he's alone now, because otherwise he does die.
Right.
We know that.
Right.
And it's just such a bummer. And I love how they showed Thor being like, in another life, we could have been like, I do love you, man. But Thor is also like, but you're just trouble. You cause so much trouble.
So it kind of goes with the title, dude. I'm like, God of mischief.
Exactly. But he's just like, man, I know you could tell how Thor is just like, I wish that we could be like a partner in crime. But Thor understands that it can never happen. And seeing Loki understand that, and knowing why, knowing that, oh, Loki understands himself. Again, I sat and just thought about this show like for 5 minutes after it went off. And I was like, dude, this makes and the thing is, I'm sure, because there's a lot of conversation on Twitter, but a lot of them say, who knows? Even if I've read all of the comics, the MCU is famous for being like, but we're going to do it this way.
Right.
This is where we're going. So even if you're like, oh, I read it, it doesn't matter. And that's why I'm glad, because otherwise there'll be spoilers galore. No one can spoil it because they're writing a new thing. This is going to be a new thing. We now have a place where gods don't matter. By itself, that's a game changer. Gods don't matter here. That means whoever walks through those doors can't do anything.
Yeah.
That's a game changer, dude.
When it comes to the TVA, so much doesn't matter. I mean, I won't really get into specifics.
I know what you're thinking. That's a huge deal.
Tesseract, no big deal. Being a god, so what?
Does not matter.
It doesn't matter.
Can walk in there, purple and all, and be twisted around in time just like anybody else. That's insane, dude.
I love all of the side characters, too, that are in this agency that are playing off of Loki, like the woman that plays Hunter B-15. Who's the initial person that captures him?
Oh, dude.
Loved her character.
Wunmi Masaku from His House.
Oh, okay. All right. I hadn't seen her in that.
Yeah, we loved that movie, and she killed it.
His House. I don't think I watched His House.
Horror movie?
No, I didn't see His House. You watched it.
Oh, dude. She was fantastic, man.
Yeah. I think she's got great timing. I love there's this little device that they use that the Minutemen, as they're called, use. Where it's like it controls, like, because what they say, and it happens several times, or they say it several times in the episode, is that time passes differently in the TVA, and they make good use of that explanation or that example. They make a good example of it. What I'm trying to say. The other character I like, I didn't catch his name, but he's that Asian Data guy. You know what I'm talking
Yes.
about? He's just like this goofy comedic character. I think he's a great addition to it.
His name's Eugene Cordero.
Yes. Owen Wilson, though, is...
Come on.
I don't know what it is about him, man. Sometimes I just can't get down with him, but he is in his bag. So far, for one episode, he is in his bag. The lines that they give Mobius to like get into Loki's head and really make him like go, oh shit, about certain things, it's fantastic.
Oh, dude.
And then there's just all this other stuff that I want to know that I'm not supposed to know yet. Like, for instance, did you give any thought when they're in that, let's just call it an elevator, and all those weird floor buttons, like where do those go? Like, why would they show us that? You know what I mean?
Great question.
Yeah, like I want to know where all this stuff.
We know one thing that alleviated, because I was like, well, I wonder if it's the no. When Owen Wilson said, this isn't magic. This is just science. I'm like, oh, because in my brain, I was looking at those numbers. I'm like, maybe there's some sort of, you push it and you go to, no. This is just science here. And I'm like, oh, well, that means it's a grounded thing. And it makes me even more so want to know where those floors go. What is it then? And it's like, it almost makes you think it's just another corporate office handling corporate business, just like this floor does. Remember he went to another random floor?
Yeah, and he's like, that's the floor I'll let you burn down.
Yep, done.
It's just, it's a corporate world in the bigger scheme of things, in the bigger universe that we're not aware of. The time, space, continuum, whatever it is, it's just business as usual there. You know what I mean? And it's like, and it's cool because they kind of give you a look at what this world consists of. There's a part where right when Loki's apprehended by Mobius and they're walking through this hallway and he's like, oh, go ahead, have a look. And he looks out the window and he just sees this whole world. And I'm so intrigued of what's going to happen. And I hope I see more of this world. It's a pretty dope looking world. I want to know everything, dude. Like, I honestly don't know if there's a better franchise than the MCU. I got to be honest with you.
And I will call it now. Let's timestamp it. I'm not going to give any spoilers, but I'm going to say 2 people are the same person.
I agree with you. They do kind of touch on that at the end.
Yeah.
But I think it's the better, thing to think about is how did we get here? Does this person even know?
No.
Yeah. It's
it's so good. Oh, if they do that, it's over, dude. It's over.
I did notice that because I didn't listen to the reviews first, but I noticed like I'll get MCU notifications from like YouTube reviews and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And several of them came up like, I've seen the first 2 episodes and this is the greatest MCU series so far. So I was really thinking that they were going to drop 2 at once. And I was like, so sad.
They got screeners.
So sad. Yeah. Screeners.
Oh, it's going to be so freaking good, dude.
I can get a lot of screeners, bro, but Disney's like, nope, not having it there. I've tried for every single MCU series so far. And they're like, nah, you're good. Just wait.
Well, I know there's a certain show that one person gets the screeners and the other 2 co-hosts never do. So it happens on, apparently there is a way to get them, but I just don't know how certain people are getting them and other people aren't.
I think it's probably like, let me look at your Twitter handle. How many followers do you have?
And it doesn't matter how many, because one person has more followers and he doesn't get them.
I assume you're talking about
yes.
Slash.
Yeah,
I figured. So it's David Chen, right?
Yeah,
that's who you're getting. Well, David Chen works for Amazon, dude. He's got all the connections.
Oh snap!
Yeah, that's why. I like that you're so cryptic. But yeah, you're talking about David Chen from the Slash Filmcast.
I didn't want to even pump them up.
I mean, whatever. They've been around forever. They're not going anywhere. But like he works for Amazon, so of course he has all the connections for this stuff.
I didn't even think about that, G.
Yeah, you work for Amazon, you got everything.
Yeah, and I would. Here's the thing. I am okay, and I'm not this guy. I am perfectly fine watching week to week.
Well, when you told me that you went, oh, I forgot it was out. And then you said, I'm going to get right on that. I'm thinking, oh, so he's going for it now. Before I know that's a thing for you. You don't like getting left, left in suspense for a week. But I got to be honest with you. I think these work better that way. MCU just works better that way, dude. The Disney Plus episodes, I like having to think about this shit. There's a lot to be thought about on this one. I'm going to watch it again and look for yet more Easter eggs or whatever that I might not even know go to what, or I might not even recognize. But if I've got a good foundation of how this show works, this stuff will kind of I think the blanks will get filled in. You know what I mean?
No question. And I love that they also hint at Loki's, him thinking that he's superior to everyone. Why? Because the only reason that they could get a drop on him is because he thought he was the biggest thing on the planet.
Yeah, we think gods are untouchable.
Exactly. And the fact, so he never had a plan to even Like, why would I have to look out? And now it's just like, wait, what? There's someone bigger than us? And also, he had to watch someone on film bigger than him. Oh, it's going to be good, Dan.
You know what I was thinking about? Like, just the asshole critic in me was thinking about when they're showing these scenes, which I won't get into how they're showing them or why they're showing them. I'm like, for like time documentation, they really are well shot. You know what I'm saying?
I was thinking, they're in nothing but science and they're still using reel-to-reel?
Yeah, exactly.
What are we doing right now?
Goddamn film.
Studios don't even use reel-to-reel.
Yeah, I thought that was funny. But those are the little things that are kind of...
I love it, dude.
I like the scene where it's like, the guy's like, please sign here to indicate that this is everything that you've ever said. He's like, what? He puts
that was so good.
He puts another piece of paper up there. Sign this one too.
It's so, and that even let him know. But there were times where I thought that like I was invincible. Yeah, you're not.
Yeah.
You're not invisible. This place can see everything. And it must be blowing his mind. And mind you, when y'all see a certain scene, I've seen the movie 1,000,000 times, but this scene and him watching him in this scene, it's horrifying. It's just horrifying, dude. Like, we forget how much. Anyway, I'm not gonna.
Yeah, it's one of those scenes. It's one of those situations where Loki's like, maybe I should just not talk. Did I really need to be a smartass right there? Probably not.
No, because he realized there are things, not just one place or person. There are people and places bigger than him now. He never thought. Would he have ever imagined that this would happen? That he was watching on screen that a thing could do this to him?
Not at all, because if you think about because it's weird, it's very, I'm going to borrow I'm going to borrow a Doctor Who term. It's very timey-wimey, right?
Yes.
So it's like, if you kind of get it mixed up, it might make more sense, but it's like at the current point in time where he's at, maybe point in time is not the right way to, what I'm trying to say is we're basically talking, he went from like 2012 to now.
Yes.
Or whatever now is in this, with the TVA. And so there's a lot of stuff he doesn't know. There's a lot of situations that he hasn't experienced yet and everything like that. So we're looking at a Loki who feels like he pretty much is, he walks between the raindrops.
Him outside and of his brother. Yes.
But it's funny because it's like there's a line in there too where Mobius tells him like, for someone who, how do you put it? For a god, you sure do lose a lot, or he said something like that.
That was so funny.
Yeah, it's like, so he does feel like he's a bit invincible. He might have some repercussions that occur every now and then, but for the most part, he can pretty much, in his mind, get out of anything. And the fact that we mentioned this already, but the fact that that's stripped down of everything now, you just get a whole different Loki. And Tom Hiddleston plays him masterfully.
Oh, Matt, when he's stripped down to nothing, to just his bare, he's stripped down of all his powers, and he's watching something happen to himself. And also, his brother, the God of Thunder, also something that happens to him. He's like, what is going on? We were the most powerful things ever, and now this thing is there. What is this? What is happening? Dude, what kind of mind screw was that?
I don't know.
You and your brother are nothing.
And we keep thinking, well, I shouldn't say we as in Dan and Steve, but I should say that, MCU fans keep thinking that with each, maybe not Falcon and Winter Soldier, but let's just take WandaVision in this one.
Yeah.
That, okay, is this where the mutants come in? Or is this where, like, I want to know what is this going to spawn? Because we still don't know what WandaVision spawned. I mean, really, we know where it could go. I don't think we're going to get another series. Maybe we will, but it's like, we kind of know where her story's going. But with this one, it's like, okay, they're talking multiverse. So is it in fact where we do the jump off point to where we're getting into that now? Because they're going to be talking about it pretty soon. It's going to be coming up in movies and stuff like that. But it doesn't necessarily mean that that's going to be the case, because they just keep peppering us with these little hints of what can come. In a way, I'm kind of glad that I'm not so into the Marvel comics where I kind of know where it's going. For instance, if we were, and I always go back to this, but if this was like a Preacher universe, I'm like, okay, right? Exactly. We used to do that all the time. Okay, well, it's this, so
we know where this is
we
going.
kind of know where it's going, or where they might jump off, or how they can use this to tell this story or whatever. I haven't a clue, and I prefer it.
It's beautiful, dude.
I really do.
Love it. And here's what we do know. We know that Vision cannot go to this place.
Why is that? Did they mention something?
No, remember when he said, "Are you human?"
Oh, that's right.
And I was like, so immediately I'm like, well, Vision can't go. And I'm like, there's a reason they did that. Why are they like, robots cannot come in here? I was like, well, I know who can't then.
Could he though, Steve?
He can't.
But he's not 100%. Well, for the sake of the show, he's not 100% robot.
Totally true. But remember that jewel doesn't work. It's done. It doesn't even work in that place. Who is he without it?
What about White Vision?
White Vision could get through, but he'd have no powers. So that means he's just a walking thing. People be like, you look weird. Walking around in a cape with no powers. Okay. This place is a game changer, dude.
I'm going to say this, guys. If there's things that, I mean, you hear us talking and we're just trying to put it together from a non-comic reading point of view. I mean, Steve, I'm speaking for myself. Steve, I don't know if you...
Oh, absolutely. I've only read Thor and Loki. I don't know anything about this place because I thought I read most of Loki's story. I haven't heard of this.
Is it weird hearing him with his last name?
What was his last name?
Loki Lofferson.
I didn't even catch that. Good catch.
Calling him Loki Lofferson. So, but I looked online and I think that's established too. But it just, for me, there was yet another thing. I did not know that his last name was Lofferson of the New Jersey Loffersons.
How great is this show? Okay, rating, Dan.
One episode, man. I can't go too hard, but you know me.
I know.
For one episode, I will give this episode a solid 4.5 out of 5. I think it was that good. It left me with that many questions. It left me with that much anticipation. And it gave me more respect for Loki's character. So yeah, I think I'm going to 4.5 out of 5 on this one. Neck belts.
I love that. I will go for this episode. It made me, very few TV shows make me think afterwards. And so I'm giving this a 4.75 out of 5 counseling sessions.
Whoa.
Oh, it's a game changer, dude.
That's high praise coming from you, dude. 4.75. Oh, damn near perfect. Dude. I don't recall the last time you did that.
I don't normally. It's one of those things where like, man, this, for some reason, the idea of this place existing, gods don't have powers in, yet it is purely scientific and they use no magic to take powers away. All science. He said there's no magic here. I mean, dude, that's...
And it's like, what the hell is this science?
Then how did you do it?
And we might never know, or at least this season.
And the thing is, the dope thing about it is, it's just, when you look around, it's normal, everyday worker bees that made this happen.
Take a ticket.
Take a ticket. It's normal, everyday worker bees that made this happen. And it's these worker bees all working in unison and made it so that gods can exist and have zero powers in this place. Dude, it is over, man. What are we talking about? Let's go, Loki. Episode 2, let's go.
One question, forward. Not a smart-ass critique, but just curious. So the one guy, he did not know what a fish is, right?
Yeah.
But then, what were they talking about? Was it, oh damn it, I didn't put in my notes. They mentioned another animal that was just like normal.
Well, the only reason we have fish is because most of our world is water. I don't know if there's water where they are.
What was the other animal they said? They said something like I can't remember.
What do they drink then?
It was like a reference to dogs or something, but it was like, well, you know what a dog is, but you don't know anyway, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's true. Because also they drink soda, so there is liquid there. So they should know what a fish is, unless he's never left that office ever.
Well, he said that. He said he spent his life behind a desk.
Well, then it's over, dude.
So I was wondering, is everyone else that way?
That means that they're not human. But then if they're not human, they can't have crossed paths into that place. So many questions.
Lots of questions, my friend.
I can't wait, man. All right. Well, that's the rating.
That's the rating. That's a very high rating. I'm really surprised you came with the 0.75. This might be something that's historical to Heroes and I don't think you've ever done it for. You've gone higher, obviously, but never a 4.75 for something based off of one episode. That's pretty impressive. But I agree with you, man. I think it's awesome. And I don't know. Maybe, you know me, I usually try to, I know I go high anyway, so I try to go a little bit lower. Could have been in the same area. I think it's totally worth the rating that you gave it for sure.
Dude,
And I don't see it tanking. I really don't see the show tanking. I think this is going to...
No, I can't wait till next Wednesday.
And like I said, some people have seen the second episode and they're just saying like, this is by far the best series so far from the MCU. So bring it on. Bring it on,
ladies and gentlemen. And that's it,
that's
brother.
It. That's a wrap, sir.
Hey, people, I love you guys so much. I am just very pleased today that we reviewed some really good movies and not all the movies that we saw were kind of trash. People go watch Loki if you have a chance. I'm sure if you don't have the channel, there's somebody that would let you watch their channel. I love you guys. Peace out.
I love you too, guys. My name is Dan Ramirez. This part's important right here, okay? Because I'm actually talking to myself. Be good to yourselves, all right? Be good to the people around you. Peace.